Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Granite Bay High School for the Xfinity High School football game of the week. Tonight it features the Lincoln Trojans and the Granite Bay Grizzlies. Welcome to the broadcast alongside Scott Gordon, Zach Bayruti. It's great to be with you on this night here in Granite Bay. And Scott, this is a rematch of last year's Division I section semifinal, a game that Granite Bay won 28-21. Both teams have prominent returning players, and you can imagine the memory from that game fresh in their minds.
The memory of that game is fresh in their mind, especially because Granite Bay went down to Lincoln and beat them down there, went on to win the section championship. But this team's, both of them, are looking at tonight's game because last week something happened that hasn't happened in a long time. Granite Bay lost, the record's 1-3, and for Lincoln of Stockton, they got blown out by St. Mary's 51-18. So both of these coaching staffs want to see if their team can put 4 quarters together tonight.
Taking a closer look at the Lincoln side of things, Justin Davis, the offense is going to run through him mostly. He verbaled to USC, and he rushed for 200 yards last week against St. Mary's.
He rushed for 2,000 yards last year, so the Trojan from Lincoln's going to go to the USC Trojans and play alongside Silas Redd and Curtis McNeil. An outstanding athlete, was the lone bright spot last week with 200 yards. But they are going to need to get some balance offensively if they're going to win tonight. They need their quarterback, Zach Greenlee, to play a little bit more consistently. The defenses are stacking the boxes. Granite Bay will be no exception tonight. 7-8 guys in the box. Shut down Davis is the game plan.
Granite Bay, a team that historically has liked to spread the ball around, but a lot of their offense is going to be run through Johnny Cooley. He's getting close to 20 carries a game on average.
Both these coaches are the offensive coordinators. They call the plays. And for Ernie Cooper, he's relying on his senior because, let's face it, they played some Southern California teams. They played a very tough non-conference schedule, and he wants to rely on his senior, not the inexperienced quarterback. And Johnny Cooley's been a guy, 18, 20 carries a game. They run the fly, which we saw with Buhack Colony. They run it very effectively, but for them to get things going tonight, just like Lincoln, they're going to need more consistent play out of their quarterback and more offensive balance.
Well, the tough non-league schedules continue for both teams tonight here in Granite Bay. It's the Lincoln Trojans, the Granite Bay Grizzlies, and it's next here on Xfinity. Back here at Granite Bay High School in Granite Bay, California, getting you ready for the Lincoln Trojans and the Granite Bay Grizzlies. It's 80 degrees outside right now, wind at 7 miles an hour to the southwest. Zach Bayruti alongside Scott Gordon. We'll now send it down to the third member of our crew, talking about the tough non-league schedules for both these teams. Let's bring in Gianna Franco. Gianna.
All right, yeah, both of these teams started out with very difficult non-league schedules, which kind of puts them in unfamiliar territory considering their current record. Just to kind of break it down how it's played out so far, Granite Bay opened up with 2 teams from Southern California, actually playing one of those teams down south. Now, they beat Vacaville, but lost in overtime last week to Pittsburgh. Now, Granite Bay head coach Ernie Cooper said he probably wouldn't have played a schedule like this unless he had a lot of experienced seniors on this team, which he does this year. Head coach Brian Gray of Lincoln compared it to playing 5 playoff games, but it encourages the teams to kind of, bring up their game, raise their level this year. Lincoln actually lost to Elk Grove, which is the best team basically in Sacramento, and last week they lost to St. Mary's of Stockton, but in both of those games, they did lead in the second half. Back to you.
Thanks, Gianna. And teams that are expected to just blow through their leagues once league play starts. Scott, what's your thoughts on the tough non-league schedules before league play, especially for teams that are projected to dominate their leagues?
Well, you want to have confidence. You want to see what your football team is made of, so you put adversity out ahead of them. It's almost like the BCS on the strength of schedule. If you're not the old Boise State argument, if you didn't have enough good teams in your conference to get you into that bowl game, they wanted to schedule SEC teams, ACC teams, Big 12, Big 10. That's exactly what these 2 schools are doing.
And again, Lincoln will be receiving. So the Trojans have the ball, trying to take it up the far side, and getting stopped for Lincoln is O'Shea Washington. Washington also a wide receiver. He returns that one to about the 20-yard line. We're going to get our first look at quarterback Zach Greenlee, a guy that's taken a trip to UCLA, plans on taking a trip to Wisconsin after the season, and a 3-year varsity player leading the Trojans onto the field.
I had a chance to watch him in the ESPN Elite 11. Very athletic young man, throws some good targeted balls, needs to get some better pass protection than he's seen already this year.
So the Trojans open 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Greenlee's going to pitch it into the backfield, and we'll get plenty of Justin Davis. He's the outstanding tailback headed to USC after this season. And before we talk more about Davis, let's take a look at the Lincoln offense. Valero, Sandoval, Story, Davis, and Washington. And it's going to be Galeros, Tia, Millet, Maga, and Hernandez.
big front. You know, can they impose their will on this Grizzly defense? That'll be one of the storylines we watch as the game develops. 4 yards on that first down play. Lincoln will take that.
Coach coming
Brian
down the
Gray
sideline.
calling his plays from upstairs tonight.
2nd down and 6 from the 24. This is Davis in the backfield, but they're going to throw instead to the near side, and hauling it in. That's going to be Rayvon Alexander, 5'9" junior. And now we'll take a look at the Granite Bay defense, as that was enough to move the chains. Hirschberger, Jarvis, Arneson, and Power. And that is Blackwell, Conan, Smith, and Milo. The linebacking crew, and then in the secondary, Lilly, Knapp, and Busey.
6 good defensive linemen. That's the strength up front. Good little pass there by Greenlee, right? Pick up the first down. Good rhythm throw.
Got to the 34-yard line. This is Greeley going to pitch it to Davis. Davis cutting to the far side, now trying to cut it back, and he's going to be swarmed and brought down for a loss of about 4 yards. So it goes back to the 30-yard line. Good pursuit that time by the Grizzly defense, and Davis trying to change directions, not really working out.
Second time they ran the sweep. This time they run it to the wide side. Last time they ran it to the short side. Great job of coming up. You can see the linebackers. They run a 4-4 scheme. 8 players in the box. Great backside pursuit. Good tackle that time by Tony Milo. 5'10", 200, the senior. They have 4 designated backers. 2 inside backers, a strong side backer, and a rover, and they are active.
So it's going to be 2nd down and long for the Trojans. It's going to be another handoff. This is Davis trying to knife his way through that front line, and Davis back to about the original line of scrimmage.
As we talked about it, head coach Brian Gray is going to be calling plays for the first time upstairs tonight, taking a unique perspective, going the Joe Paterno route, except he's actually got the call card right in front of him, calling the plays. You can see they have been pretty one-dimensional offensively this year, and we've already seen Davis 3 times run the ball, 2 times for not that many yards, and 1 4-yard pickup. Need to get big yards out of him.
Lincoln falling last week to St. Mary's 51-18 after having a lead at the start of the second half. Some injuries, a problem for the Trojans, and St. Mary's ran all over him in the second half, and now whistle before the snap. It's going to be a timeout called by Lincoln.
This is a storyline to watch. You know, your head coach is upstairs, normally who calls the plays down there. He's got his Nutello Howard, that's the defensive coordinator. He's got both coordinators down the field. But a chance to talk to him before the game. He feels very comfortable about it. But what you can do from the booth versus the sidelines is very different. If you see something right on the field, you just quickly go ahead and tell your quarterback something. But if you're upstairs, you got to work down through your coordinator, Mike Sewell, right there, sensing a very key 3rd and 9 that maybe wanted to make a change. They had to go with a timeout.
Just saw Ernie Cooper on the Granite Bay side in his 16th season as head coach. Record of 143, 43-1. He's brought home 4 section championships and one of the more respected coaches in this area.
Oh, absolutely. Respected coach. You know, this whole city, Granite Bay, has really dove into this program. Pop Warner is developed. They all run the fly. He's got the whole community behind it. He's really built up Grizzly football. You know, he was the JV coach for a year. He's been their only varsity coach that they've known, and he has been outright very, very successful.
Back on the field are the Trojans facing a 3rd down and 9. It's going to be a shotgun formation. Greeley's going to roll to the near side. He's going to be pursued. He chucks it up the near sideline, and that's going to be on the Granite Bay bench. And that'll bring up 4th down and long, and the Trojans are forced to punt.
You see what Brian Gray's trying to do. He knows that they can't keep the rush from coming up the middle. The Grizzlies come on a blitz, so he tries to roll out his athletic quarterback, Greenlee. Receivers are well covered. They have to throw it away. So you can see that first down play going for negative yards ends up coming back to hurt them, and they have to punt on their first offensive series.
O'Shea Washington's going to punt back deep. To return it is Tony Ellison for the Grizzlies. It's a low snap, and Washington handles it, gets it end over end across midfield, bounces down the 35-yard line. Coming near side is Ellison, change of directions. Ellison near sideline, going to try and turn on the Jets. He's at the 30, 25, cuts back at the 20, and is brought down. There is a flag on the play, so we'll see if that play is going to stand or if it's going to come back.
Looks like they're going to have a clip. Very close call. He's fielded it on the right hash, tries to come to the left side and find the wall. You're going to get a block on the back. It all depends on where your helmet is. If your helmet is in front of the numbers, it's not a block in the back. If it's behind the numbers, generally you're going to get that call, block in the back.
That's Robert Pugh, our referee tonight. And that is the call. So a nice return goes for naught for the Granite Bay Grizzlies. We'll get our first look at their offense. There's Ernie Cooper.
Ernie Cooper not happy at all with that call. And
Robert Pugh trying to deal with the feedback from the microphone.
Blocking the ball. Breeze. 10 yards. First down.
That's the house feed right there.
it is homecoming. A lot going on here tonight. And, you know, you negate, will probably push the ball on the 30-yard line. Now it's down inside your own 30. So a big miss right there. And Ernie Cooper not happy at all with it.
So that'll set him back to the 29-yard line. Much different field position than the return had held. Our first look at Grant Caraway. He's in a two-back set. He's going to hand it off, and bouncing to the near side is Johnny Cooley. And Cooley's going to be brought down for a very minimal gain, maybe a yard.
Playing this offense, is all about knowing your roles, reading your keys. So the defensive line does a nice job of stuffing the fullback, Taft Partridge, and Johnny Cooley comes around the outside, and they keep contained well. So you can see Caraway's numbers on the year. A lot of respect for him from the Lincoln side. They think he's a pretty good athlete.
Second down and 9, another two-back set, 3 wide receivers. They're going to go to the far side, rather, and that's to the 35-yard line. And fighting for extra yards is Ty Cerna, who played a bit last year. And we'll get our first look at the Granite Bay starting offense. There is Cerna, Graber, Partridge, Cooley, and Ellison in the backfield. And up front, it's Barty, Smith, Doyle, Ramirez, and Blank.
It was a good throw, kind of like we saw on the other side with Greenland. A little rhythm throw, 3 steps. They go 3 receivers, 2 backs. And that's the base of their passing game. Quick game, 7-8-yard routes.
Man in motion, 3rd down and 3. It's going to be handed off to that man in motion. That's Ellison. And Ellison across the 40. He has the first down. Tony Ellison, who had that nice punt return negated by that block in the back, picks up a first down for his club.
Nice job. This is your traditional fly look. Fly means that's the motion guy. Missing a tackle right there is Makai Tolele. But coming upfield doing a nice job is Ellison picking up the first down for the Grizzlies.
First down and 10 from the 43. Again, a man in motion. This time it's going to be handed off in the backfield. That's Cooley. He's fighting toward that logo to midfield. He's going to be spun around and brought down after a nice game. The Lincoln defense, McMiller, Maga, and Young Gaines. Linebacking core, Ramos, Calder, Boone, Arismendi, and Ramos. The Ramos brothers, if you will. Alexander, Valeros, and Washington.
Running 3-5 stack, very similar to Del Oro, their defensive coordinator, as we've talked about. And Natello Howard signals things in from the sideline, but a good first down pickup for the fly.
There's going to be a handoff to Ellison, and Ellison's going to be close to the first down marker, and looks like he has it by the spot the officials are giving.
Nice job here of inside blocking. It's very deceptive. So you got 3 people that are going to look around the outside on the right, but he does a good job of carrying out a ball fake. So it really forces this Lincoln defense, the Trojans, to be back on their heels, not really getting any penetration coming up the field. They pick up their second first down on this drive.
Ellison played last year as a sophomore. Granite Bay has 42 seniors. More returning starters than usual for them. Throw to the near side. There's Ellison again. Called his name a lot. He cuts it back at the 40-35. He's going to be down close to the 30-yard line. So they're getting him involved early and often.
They are. And Grant Caraway, you know, this is a risky throw because he's throwing from the right hash. Look how far he has to throw this. This ball is almost like a long handoff. But you get it to a guy like Ellison who makes a bunch of people miss. Caraway obviously was a guy who started as a freshman, started on the JV team, was a backup last year. They had a 3-year starter who's now at Cal as an invited walk-on, but he is 2 for 2 to start this game.
Brendan Keeney is that guy's name, and it's going to be a handoff to the far side it goes. This is going to be Andrew Towery. Another fly back, and he's going to bring it to, down to about the 25-yard line.
Good job by Towery here. Sometimes they go right down the line of scrimmage. Sometimes they take a couple steps back, knowing that he can break contain around the outside, breaks the tackle, picks up another 7 yards on first down. Granite Bay offense is in rhythm. Let's remember, We talked about Lincoln leading St. Mary's last week. They were leading Pittsburgh 20-6 in the second half. Very surprised to lose 28-27.
This is going to be Ellison again, fighting for the first down. He should have it.
You know, we kind of talked in our open about how they've been riding Johnny Cooley so much. Well, now we're seeing Ellison, Caraway throwing the ball. Good job on the sweep. Good job pulling by their sweep block. Taft Partridge, a nice lead block that time. And, you know, the way their offensive line works, strong guard, strong tackle, quick guard, quick tackle. They move them from side to side. They're not just in a straight position.
So another 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies. Coming near side, it's going to be to Cerna, and Cerna is toward the 10-yard line.
Watch the block this time by Tony Ellison and Johnny Cooley. This is a quick wide receiver screen. He takes one step, throws it all the way to the other hash. But look at the 2 receivers out in front. These are what senior leaders and junior leaders do that have experience. Great job of getting 9 yards on first down. 8, 9 yards. We keep saying that. This is what they want to do.
Pitch to the backfield across the 10 to the near sideline is Johnny Cooley. He has a first down. It's going to be 1st and goal for Granite Bay.
Nice little variation of this play right here. Cooley, we talked about him, 18 to 20 carries coming in. Just a quick toss sweep. Look at the block coming on this side. Kevin Blank, number 74. He's the quick tackle. They are winning the line of scrimmage battle. They are physically imposing their will across the front. 1st and goal, and Lincoln's got to get a stop here.
1st and goal. They set the ball at about the 4-yard line. Caraway sets the man in motion. He's going to hand it off from the backfield, charging into the line, and a minimal gain there. I believe that was Johnny Cooley.
And Cyrus Boone meet Johnny Cooley. Middle linebacker just stepped right up and made a shot. 6'2", 220, the junior. He was not going to be overran at all. Look at him. You can actually hear him. Great pad level. He gets low. You got your athlete against their athlete. Steps up and makes a nice tackle. Thomas Aramendi right there with him to help out. He's the laser backer.
Cyrus Boone, doesn't that sound like the name of a fierce linebacker?
It does, like a stonebreaker, Boone, you know, somebody's going to take you out.
Another handoff, and this is going to be into the end zone for a touchdown, and that's Johnny Cooley. We talked about him in the open, and he has the first points of the game for Granite Bay.
Did a nice job running on this drive, did a nice job blocking. This is just a straight I formation look. They pull the tackle. He runs right behind him. Sometimes a running back doesn't need to be fast, they need to be patient. Justin Ramirez pulls there, and Johnny Cooley, invitation for 6, touchdown. And there's a flag down on the play. They called holding, so that will be wiped off the board. Second key penalty. The first one was on the big punt return by Ellison, bringing it all the way down inside their 30. That one negates the 6 points. And a second costly penalty for the Grizzlies. Let's take a look at the right side of the screen here. I think we might have a shot of the hold. There it is right there. You see the jersey being turned around, and that they'll get you every time. That's the tight end, Stephen Graybear, coming in. They get him on the hold. Good call.
Caraway back to pass in a slant route, and that's Ty Cerna. And Cerna is going to be close to the goal line.
This is a nice rhythm throw. 1-2, he looks left the whole way, puts the ball in a spot where only his receiver can catch it. He's got a lot of faith in the 5'11", 180-pound senior in Cerna. Nice catch. And Caraway's thrown some good footballs on this drive. There's not been one ball that hits the ground. 3rd and goal.
From the 2-yard line. They take the snap. They're going to hand it to Cooley, and for the second time, Cooley into the end zone for a touchdown. This time, looks like it counts.
They go unbalanced line off the left side. Look at how many balance they have on the left side. Great backside blocking, and there's a big hole right there. This time he goes in untouched. And now I can say this, Johnny Cooley has the touchdown. We featured him in the open. Impressive job on that drive. And Granite Bay's defense and offense has come out very, very fired up.
It's going to be Colin Brown to kick the extra point. It is up, and it is good. 3:57 to go in the opening quarter. 7-0 Granite Bay here on Xfinity. Granite Bay moved the ball very well on its opening drive, and they have a 7-0 lead. Touchdown run for Johnny Cooley, and now to be the Trojans' chance to try and get things right on offense. We talked about their head coach being up now above the field, maybe trying to switch things up. First offensive series didn't quite work out for the Trojans. They were forced to punt. They'll try it again.
You know, last week against St. Mary's, as we mentioned, they were leading, and then really the wheels just fell off. They got beset by injuries. They had a tough time really withstanding that rush to St. Mary's. So for them right now, they just got to get some first downs, calm their team down, get some points going. I tell you who was impressive for Granite Bay there. We talked about Johnny Cooley in the open, but Caraway was 4 for 4 on that drive, and it made all the difference as Granite Bay goes up 7-0.
It was Justin Davis having the ball go off his hands in the end zone. It's going to be a touchback. We've talked a lot about Davis, the verbal commitment to USC, and they're going to look to him a lot, but as you mentioned, I think earlier, they're going to run the risk maybe if they do that of being a bit one-dimensional.
Zach Greenlee is a very, very athletic, good quarterback. You know, 3-year varsity guy, 22 touchdowns last season, 60% passer. UCLA, Wyoming looking at him tonight, Wisconsin, but he needs help from his up front guys. One of the biggest problems, you look around the up front, you see 2 sophomores and a junior. They need to get experience quickly tonight.
Man in motion, Greenlee's going to be working out of the shotgun. He throws it in the backfield to Davis, and Davis trying to shake some tackles. He's across the 20, he gets out of it, and he's up to 25 now to the 30, up the far sideline, 40, 45 midfield, where he's finally forced out. We get a look at the talents of Justin Davis on that run.
Too bad you're going to get this call back. Rayvon Alexander downfield going to get a block in the back, but you really get to see the athletic talents here. Granite Bay plays this well. This is basically a designed handoff, but it looks like a quick throw out to the side. He breaks 4 tackles, but a lot of frustration there from Lincoln. Down the field as he's making yards away from the play. They get Rayvon Alexander.
Block in the back. Offense. 10 yards from the spot of foul. Replay. First down.
It happens so far downfield, it's going to bring him back to about a first and 2 or 1.
We saw Granite Bay overcome a similar penalty as they started their opening drive.
There's Mike Sewell. He'll be signaling into place from Gray, who's upstairs, as we mentioned. Very exciting JV game, actually, to lead us into this game. 27-26, Granite Bay, where Lincoln ended up winning.
Granite Bay went for a 2-point conversion at the buzzer as Davis is going to send it into that line.
Great atmosphere to watch football up here in Granite Bay. It's homecoming, as we mentioned. Offense very pleased with how they came out. You know, they haven't been home a lot, and they played a very difficult schedule. There's Gray sitting upstairs just above us, sitting in the offensive plays, and he was an offensive coordinator for Jim Ruby Ellis, so he's used to kind of getting that cat's bird look up top.
He's also an assistant at St. Mary's. First down and 10. As Lincoln did pick up the first down, they're going to throw far side, and that's going to be an incomplete pass intended for O'Shea Washington.
You know, this one's actually on O'Shea Washington. This is not a disciplined route. He's kind of just drifting to the left side. They go 3 steps back. They're trying to get a quick hit. That's supposed to be an out route. You need to run precise routes to help your quarterback. Sometimes the ball just hits the ground, and they go, what was the quarterback doing there? We're right there. You got to have discipline in your route. Now it's 2nd and 10.
Division I section semifinals last year was Granite Bay over Lincoln, 28-21. This is going to be Greenlee rolling to the far side. Greenlee is going to throw to the sideline, incomplete. So again, not much there for the Trojans.
You know, that's what happens when you see some guys on tape and you're familiar with them and you play them in the playoffs like you just seen. You know what their tendencies are, so on a 2nd and long, you're looking past. Play action really doesn't fool anybody, and on the rollout, both receivers are well covered. He just does a smart thing and throws it away.
Talked about that game, that section semifinal game last year. Lincoln still has Zach Greenlee and Justin Davis. Those guys participated in that game. Granite Bay lost Brandon Keeney, who we talked about earlier, and also offensive lineman Garvin Andrews. But outside of that, as we mentioned for Granite Bay, they've had plenty of returnees. It was Gavin Andrews, I beg your pardon. He's at Oregon State. Talk about a season they're having up at Oregon State. The Beavers, as that's incomplete down the middle.
Looks like he's going to Jordan McMiller, the tight end, one of the 2 of them that we have, and he goes out of shotgun for the first time. Pretty good pass protection. And a nice job downfield defensively, just getting in the way. He throws that one in the double covers. Cameron Smith, who's also a sophomore defensively there. So 2 series for Lincoln, 2 punts. Ernie Cooper's got to be happy with the way his offense and defense has come out in this football game.
Fourth down, and Lincoln's going to boot it away. And this is going to be Ellison back deep to receive it. He is plowed at the 30-yard line, maybe the 32.
Great timing, you know, pretty brave back there. You're not going to take many fair catches, but coming up and laying on it is Donald Rucker, who also plays defensive end for Lincoln. And Lincoln right there could have used the turnover. Nice job by Ellison just to hang on to the football, but they pick it up in almost the same spot they started last time. Last time they started just inside the 30. Here they start off at their 32.
Just under 3 minutes to go in the first. And Caraway is going to be rolling to the far side. He's going to throw on the run, and it's complete. And forced out of bounds is Stephen Garber, his tight end. Graber, I beg your pardon.
They might call a penalty here for him jumping over the defensive back, hurdling him. And he's downfield. It's a very athletic play, personal foul. Yeah, I think this is what they're going to call here. This is a good throw by Grant Caraway. It's a personal foul, so they take it from the spot, move it back 15 yards. Will probably present a 1st and 15 here. Let's see what the call is.
Here comes Robert Pugh.
Personal foul, hurdling, offense. 15 yards from the spot of the foul, replay, first down.
That's a good call, Scott.
It's too bad. They do a nice job of pass protection on the blitz up inside. Caraway's got all day, would have delivered his 5th completion, and this is just an athletic play. How do you tell a kid, I'm going to go right over the top of you? You see kids in college and the NFL do it, but in high school they are so sensitive to injuries and whatnot that they go ahead and hurdle, but they call the 15-yard penalty there, 1st and 9.
Caraway looking near side, has a man in the backfield. That's Ellison breaking tackles across the 50 to the 45-yard line. Tony Ellison, here in the early going, has his fingerprints all over this one.
I like what they're doing. They're throwing, they're running, they come out back-to-back plays. It's 1st and 9. And look at Ellison's speed. He cuts back up against the grain, breaks a tackle, gets positive yards after the catch. Another 1st down for Granite Bay. Grant Caraway 5 for 5. Ernie Cooper's got a good balance going right here. He's the offensive coordinator as well, calling a nice game early on.
Have to appreciate an offense that finds ways to get the ball in the hands of its playmakers.
In space, too, where they can make plays.
1st and 10 from the 45. It's going to be a handoff. Spinning around is Cooley, and Johnny Cooley gets about 5-6 yards on that carry.
Yeah, you come out 2 plays in a row and you go play action, complete, get some nice yardage out of that even though it's called back, and then you go wide receiver screen out to the left. Then you let your lineman move, and that's a pretty good size hole up inside there. Picks up another 6-7 yards, and Lincoln is really back on their heels. They have to find a way to get some penetration and get some stops here on Granite Bay.
2nd down and 4. They're going to pitch it, and making his way across the 40-yard line. That's going to be Taft Partridge, the fullback.
Defensive front does a nice job with penetration here. This is a nice look. You know, they're trying to hit him quick as they've been running some traps and counters inside, but missing their blocks up front. And you got Micah Toloi coming up to make the stop there. 5'11", 196, a junior defensive end. They've got about 8 guys they think they can play up front. Play that 3-5 stack. It's really designed to stop the run and make you beat them over the top.
Sets up 3rd down and 4 as we're now under a minute here in the opening quarter. Caraway will hand it off, and this is going to be Cooley coming near side, and Cooley loses the football. Lincoln picks it up, and they're blowing whistles down there. They're going to say the play is dead. It was a pretty late whistle, and it was Devin Ramos who recovered it, it looked like.
Looks like Arismendi's the one that knocks it loose, but let's take a look at what happens here. Runs a sweep. Actually, this is an off-tackle play that he bounces outside. Arismendi loses contain, and the ball looks, oh, that's close. It's just going to be whatever they call on the field, obviously. We can't challenge it, but he's swinging it wide around the outside, carrying it outside. I think that ball's out. It's close, though. It's very, very close. 4th down, though, nonetheless. 4th and 2. Right knee is down, and the ball is. Watch his right knee come down. That ball's down.
I think he's down.
That's a good call. Ball's down.
Great look from the truck, by the way.
Great shot, guys. The one thing he's got to do is quick swinging the ball around. You want to have it in your outside arm, but you don't want to have it swinging around there. That ball could have been popped loose. Good hit, too. The refs right now are trying to talk about the spot. Play blown dead right there. Pretty great shot from our truck showing you that the knee was down. Obviously, you're going to go for it in this situation. 38, your offensive liners do what you want. Natello Howard trying to get his defense ready.
I think they're going to leave it right where it is. Our guys in the truck say it should be about the 36-yard line.
That's what Ernie Cooper's saying. The ball should be down a little bit further. It makes a little bit of a difference here. There's Natello Howard. This is also interesting. Brian Gray, the head coach, is not there, so he's got to relay this up to the coaches in the box. He's talking about the crackback blocks on the motion. He's not even arguing the call. Let's get our call from Robert Pugh.
Okay, the ruling on the field is down by contact. The result of the play is 4th down.
So no mention of the spot of the ball. Again, from the guys in the truck, they're telling us, looking at the replay over and over, that it should be about a yard further up.
Well, for them right now, you could also let the clock run out.
4th down and 2, and there's some
got him to jump.
Movement.
Cameron Calder, number 26, a sophomore from his razor spot, jumps in.
Defense, 5-yard penalty, result of the play, 1st down.
He's coming up, he's gonna blitz into the B gap right there, and he just gets too excited, and he makes contact, he can't move back. 1st down, Granite Bay, another costly penalty.
So they don't even need to run a play to get the 1st down. And that might take us to the end of the 1st quarter with about 5 seconds to go. And indeed it will. So the 1st quarter here in Granite Bay has come to a close, and our score at the end of the 1st, it's Granite Bay 7, Lincoln nothing. This is our Xfinity game of the week. Seven 0 Granite Bay here in Granite Bay, about to start the 2nd quarter. For more on the outstanding head coach of the Granite Bay Grizzlies, we send it down to Gianna Franco.
All right, thanks, Clyde. Yeah, Ernie Cooper is really the only varsity football head coach the school has ever known. It actually opened up in 1996. Their first varsity team was in 1997, and that was really their only losing season so far. Now, they've been to 5 section finals, 4, they've won 4, 3 in Division II, and the first was, or 1 in the first in Division I was his first last year, was his first win in Division I. Now, last year he was named the Sacramento Bee Head Coach of the Year after he won that section title over Pleasant Grove. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Gianna, and quite a run for Ernie Cooper, I beg your pardon. 2011 Division I beat Pleasant Grove. 2007 Division II beat Del Oro. 2000 Division II beat Oak Ridge. And 1999 Division II beat Oakdale, the section titles. And that's going to be a big loss for Granite Bay.
Why are we letting it go?
There you see the coaching staffs of both these programs, and not only that, the players that have come out of these programs are so impressive. 16 years, very, very different, very comparable records there. Jim Ruby Ellis did a great job. Brian Gray was his offensive coordinator. Mike Johnson before he left and ran the Franklin program. But on the field right here, Granite Bay, that was their biggest play for a loss. Caraway falling down.
They're going to swing it to the flat, and that's going to be Ellison. And he's down at about the 40-yard line, maybe the 42.
That might have been the play that Lincoln needed. They got a little penetration there before. Trace Caraway out to the side. He lost his footing around the right hash mark, and now they've got 3rd and long instead of just a 2nd and 5 like they've had 3rd and 5 this whole game. This is a critical 3rd down. You have to think if they stop them here and can hold the yardage down, they might force Granite Bay into a punt.
And if they can, it's probably going to be pretty demoralizing for the Trojan defense. So 3rd down and 20. Caraway is going to roll to the near side. Caraway being pursued. He's going to fire it into the sideline, out of bounds. So the Trojan defense does hold.
This is what they needed. Ernie Cooper very, very frustrated, not happy with the protection, and a nice job coming up from his defensive line spot to apply a little bit of pressure on Caraway, who hasn't missed yet tonight. That was his first incompletion right there. 6 for 7 on the night, but David Agnew coming up from his nose guard spot to apply some pressure, and now Granite Bay will have to punt.
It's going to be a high snap. That is Caraway punting. He handles the punting duties as well. Fair catch being called for. That's going to bounce inside the 10-yard line and roll into the end zone for a touchback.
Great job right there on the punt return. Nice job of being deceptive, so Granite Bay couldn't come down. The ball lands on the 3, but goes in the goal line because he knows what he's doing. Now here's a chance for Lincoln. Anytime you've got Justin Davis and Zach Greenlee, you have a chance to score on any given play. Their defense just gave him a shot in the arm. Nice vitamin B12 shot. They should be excited on the sidelines and come out and really get their running game going downhill.
And again, going back to last week, Lincoln was up 12-7 on St. Mary's into the second half, and then injuries became a problem, especially in the secondary. Their top 4 corners went out, and St. Mary's ended up running away with that game, 51-18. It's 9 straight wins for the Rams of St. Mary's over the Trojans of Lincoln. They're going to try and fire the deep ball. It's going to be incomplete down the near sideline. And that was intended for Rayvon Alexander.
Love this play, though. You know, come out. We just made a stop. Great pass protection. You see the offensive line. You see Davis swinging over. Nobody even gets close to him because they're looking for the run. And Greenlee's got to give his receiver an opportunity to make a catch. That ball ends up coming down out there. As you can see, 2 for 7. 18 yards. He's a guy that competed in the ESPN's Elite 11, but you've got to find, all that's not on him. We've seen some receivers run some bad routes, seen a drop here and there, but right there you got to give your receiver a chance to make the play.
Last year, 2,300 yards, 22 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in 2011 for Zach Greenlee. Takes a snap, he's going to hand it off to Davis. He's trying to get to the near side, and he's going to be dragged down. Cameron Smith tackled for a big loss.
He's having a big night already. Just a sophomore, got good size. Look at the job he comes off the slow developing play, gets good penetration. They got 8 guys in the box. He bounces off the tackle. And Davis just trying to make a play. Sometimes discretion's the better part of valor, and you want to just go into the line of scrimmage and lose 1. Instead, he loses 5, so now they're in a 3rd and 17. Not a whole lot of plays on the call sheet, whether you're in the press box or the sidelines, for 3rd and 17 from their own 13.
Maybe there'll be a play call from above the press box.
Possibly.
That's where Brian Gray is stationed. Direct snap to Greenlee. He's going to fire it deep to the far side. Well covered, and it's going to be overshot. They tried to get it to Alexander again. He was the guy they tried to get it too deep on the near side, the first play of the drive.
You know, this is almost like a punt when you've got arm strength like him. You throw it out as deep as you can. You send somebody underneath it, and if the DB actually makes the catch there, that's Zach Lilly. He actually makes the catch there. It's probably as good as a punt, but he's smart, doesn't come down with it, and now Lincoln's got a kick.
What's been the stumbling block for the Trojan offense to this point?
Ernie Cooper right now yelling at the refs, pretty excited about something. I'd say their inability to really block the Granite Bay defensive front so far.
It's going to be end over end to Ellison. He takes it at midfield and is promptly dragged down after making his way to about the 47-yard line. It's a nice tackle made there by Theron Palmer.
Yeah, open field tackle. Now, Ernie Cooper, one of the frustrations he had after last week's loss to Pittsburgh was a lot of self-inflicted wounds. He wants to see his team play a little bit mentally tougher. You know, they're moving the ball down the field, couldn't be happy at all with the way the last drive stalled. Now you get the ball in good field position in Trojan territory. They want to get some positive yards on 1st and 2nd down.
Man in motion, that's Ellison for Caraway. It's going to be handed to Ellison on the fly, and he's across the 45, making his way to about the 43-yard line. Gain of a few.
One of the things that's unheralded is the wide receiver's ability to block. Look at the lead block. That's actually Taft Partridge, the fullback. Might not look like he got the better part of that contact, and he definitely didn't, but he got in the way of the defensive back, allowing his running back to get upfield.
Tony Ellison, a guy who really came on toward the end of last season, carrying that momentum into 2012. Seen a lot of him tonight. 2nd down and 6. Caraway's going to throw this time. Going to throw it over the middle, and that's Ellison again, and Ellison has a 1st down.
He's actually got 2 guys open on this. They just run double curl routes. But here, this is a great job. This is a good example of what a receiver needs. 1, 2, 3, set, throw. Receivers know where the 1st down sticks are. They go get the football. Tony Ellison's down on a curl route, 1st down. Colin Brown was also right on the numbers, would have picked up the 1st down as well, too. And that's a throwaway. 8 for 9. That one incompletion was a heady play, just a throwaway. Good job tonight. We talked about the balance they need, and you're seeing it.
And also a lot of high percentage passing plays for the Granite Bay Grizzlies. It's going to be a handoff, and this is going to be Andrew Towery. And Towery going to get a few yards.
You know, one of the questions I had for Brian Gray, the head coach in Lincoln earlier this week, was what do you think of the new Granite Bay offense? You know, obviously, you lose somebody right now that's down at Cal. It was a 3-year starter. What do you think of the new quarterback? He said, this Caraway's pretty good. He's athletic. We like what we see, and you're seeing now why. You know, those are high percentage throws that gives him a lot of confidence, but they're also picking up 4 or 5 yards with their runs that are allowing that pass protection to be improved.
It's going to be Caraway rolling to the near side, and he's going to throw it near side. He has a man, and I believe this might be a completion. And it was caught by Stephen Graber.
This is great hands. Look at this. He keeps the play alive with his feet, throws it right on a frozen rope. But watch the footwork here. All you need to have is 1 foot down in high school, and I don't think he has full possession of this, but there is no replay as it's coming down. Watch this throw to the side. The other ankle was a great shot and showed you. Nonetheless, great effort by Graber, who came into this game with 8 receptions, the leading receiver for the Grizzlies. 1st and 10 at the 12.
2 in the backfield, Ellison in motion. They're not going to give it to Ellison. Instead, up the middle, untouched goes Taft Partridge for a Granite Bay touchdown.
The parting of the sea right here. They've run that fly sweep so many times that they had to honor it around the outside. Watch the fly guy come by. I'll fake to him. I'm going to give it to Partridge, and a great job of blocking up front by Justin Ramirez. All he does is wall off the linebacker. Another rushing touchdown for the Grizzlies, their 2nd of the night. Lead this one now by 2 scores.
Colin Brown will be on to try the point after. And it's straight through. 14-0 Granite Bay. We will step aside. They're getting loud on homecoming night in Granite Bay. It's 14-0 Grizzlies. It's the Xfinity Game of the Week. Nothing Granite Bay over Lincoln. 7:19 remaining in the half. And we'll be with you next. Be next week, Linden versus Argonaut. That'll be a live telecast next Friday from beautiful Jackson right here on Xfinity.
Sutter Amador Jackson, beautiful down there. Good football played. But a great job by this Granite Bay offense. They've really responded to, yeah, they come into the game 1-3. You know, you could knock yourselves, but your senior quarterback looks good. You know, you look at some of these guys we featured in the open, and Johnny Cooley, he's had a good game and has a tough touchdown. And then Taft Partridge gets rewarded for his great blocking. Takes a little inside trap play. And right now, they're winning this game really because they're winning the line of scrimmage.
So Lincoln will try and get something started again. This kick is end over end, and it's short. It's going to bounce to the 20-yard line. It's a live ball. Still fighting for it. Looks like Granite Bay recovered it. Granite Bay celebrating like they did. And they did. Wow. That's the last thing that Lincoln needed right there. And it looks like it's Bo Hirschberger on the recovery for the Grizzlies.
So they're winning on offense, they're winning on defense, and now they're winning on special teams. You've got to come up and make a play on this. O'Shea Washington and Hirschberger, 34, just goes in, and it's every man for himself in that situation. And here they are again, 1st and 10 on the 20.
Hirschberger, a senior, a returning starter from a year ago. So Caraway back on the field, and knifing his way up is Johnny Cooley.
You know, a lot of the Lincoln guys play both ways, especially their front six, and this defensive front has just been pounded on. They did force one stop. They've given up 2 scores, and I hate to say that this is a time when they absolutely have to make a play, but you really think the way Granite Bay is moving right here, if they go up 3 scores, this football game's getting out of hand quickly.
Second down and 7. Direct snap to Caraway. Quick throw, far side, Ellison. Ellison to the 10. He's up the far sideline at the 5, and he's in for a touchdown. And Granite Bay right now is making it look easy, especially number 39, Tony Ellison.
And so is Grant Caraway. These aren't long throws, but these are precise throws, and you can see, watch this. This play is really made by the block downfield. Good seal, makes him miss a tackle. Coming back to make the block, number 2, Ty Cerna. Touchdown for Ellison. So all their athletes, Ellison, Partridge, Cooley, and Grant Caraway having big nights as they go up now by 3 scores. That play on special teams is as good as a turnover to give them the ball right there in the 20. And this Lincoln offense, which got the ball to start the game, Granite Bay will get it first in the second half, has got to do something.
Colin Brown adds the extra point. And it's been a huge night, as we mentioned, for Tony Ellison.
All different ways, you know, he's a guy that's done it, you know, 6'1", 170, a junior, comes in, he's their flyback. You can see this time they go all the way across the field. Every time he's gotten the ball, he's made a defender miss. That play, he does it twice. So that's a first down pickup. Then you have the wide receiver screen out to the left side. Again, cutting back against the grain, and you know what? Breaks 2 tackles again. So there's 2 in a row there. 3-step drop. This time he knows where the sticks are for the first down, runs the crow route, picks up another first down. And then right here, the touchdown pass to put him up 21-0, which is the score right now. And guess what? He makes somebody miss down the field. So very athletic play. And give Grant Caraway a lot of credit for getting him the ball in space when he needs to.
I know you try and turn the page from week to week, but how much does a deflating loss like the one Lincoln had to St. Mary's last week, how much does that carry over into the start of the next game, do you think?
The really important thing isn't the game, it's that week in practice and how they respond. You have no idea how really they practice, but you show up to practice on Monday, and is it a hangover effect? But what you say on the sidelines is, oh no, hopefully this isn't happening again. They really need to make a play. You know, the other side of it is Ernie Cooper's job, what he's done with Granite Bay. In a very deflating loss, they're up 20-6, which is why they're not going to take their foot off the gas pedal tonight.
It's got to be O'Shea Washington on the return. And Washington is brought down. They mark it at the 25-yard line. That's where Lincoln will start and have to do a lot of work on offense.
Just got to get some first downs. You know, you can't. There's no play on the play sheet that gives you 21 points overnight. But what you need to do is pick up some first downs. You got to get Justin Davis going. Jack Greenlee's got to throw some completions. They've got to do some things that really keep the Granite Bay defense on the field and give themselves some confidence going into the second half.
Trojans in desperate need of a spark. And they'll put Greenlee in the shotgun to start. He's got to drop back and throw. Going to be flushed out to the far side. And Greenlee still looking downfield, fires down the near sideline, and it is incomplete.
You know, they're trying to get everything in one play. This is actually a very athletic play by Greenlee, but their base is really running the football. Greenlee, this is the 3rd deep ball that he's thrown. This is well defended on the play. Great job of coming up back to the defender. And Zach Lilly, believe, on the defensive play right there. And you know, they need to get some first downs. They don't need touchdowns right away. They need to get the ball in Granite Bay territory. There's a lot of things they need to do mentally here. So you got to think they go to Davis on some screens, maybe some draws, try to shift the momentum, especially up front.
Again, they'll put Greenlee in a shotgun, 2nd down and 10. Greenlee looking for a quick throw, it looked like. Now he's going to be flushed out again, far side, and that's going to be deflected and caught by Washington. O'Shea Washington out of bounds, shy of the 40-yard line, and that's a big break for the Trojans.
Holy Denver Broncos, little deflection right to another receiver behind there, but they'll take a first down any way they can get it. It's supposed to be just a quick play. You can see he never really loses his poise. Tries to force one there, though. It's also interesting because they got 2 receivers within 3 yards of one another on the route. He's trying to get somebody to go down the field. If you have a down the field route, you're supposed to come back to the quarterback. If you have an upfield route, you're supposed to go down the other direction. But nonetheless, it's just their second first down.
Sometimes a fluky play can start some momentum. We'll see if that happens for the Trojans. On first down and 10, Greenlee back to throw. He's going to be hit, dragged down, and sacked.
Tyler Arnson in there on the stop from his defensive spot, but you also got a flag down on the play.
So we'll see if that sack for Arneson holds up.
So back-to-back plays now. They pick up the first down. Now they're going to get one. Arnson goes in a little bit high, grabs the face mask, and obviously Ernie Cooper's not happy with this after what happened last week.
During the tackle, 5-yard face mask against Green, first down.
They have to reset they move the chains up 5 yards only, first and 15.
Greenlee not in a shotgun this time, and we have some encroachment, it looks like, on Granite Bay.
Defensive offside, so you're starting to see Granite Bay.
Encroachment, defense, 5 yard, still first down.
So back-to-back plays now, you're getting Granite Bay penalties, and then they got a good break to pick up a first down. So Arnson comes in, just goes high. He knows he has it. It almost looks like the face mask comes in from Justin Davis trying to block there on the backside. Nonetheless, they get the call. They've got a couple good breaks here. First and 10.
About 5.5 minutes to go in the half, and Lincoln in desperate need of something positive. Greenlee's going to hand it off to Davis, and he just has nowhere to go. And it looks like Granite Bay is determined not to let Davis beat them tonight.
They've got to find a way to get him the ball, though, outside. Try to get creative with some type of play calling, because right there they're just trying to go right up the middle. They're not winning the line of scrimmage. Look at this. He has absolutely nowhere to go. Arnson makes up for the 5-yard face mask, comes up and makes a tackle, and it looks like a green party right there. There's 4 guys on him. Tyler Arnson, 6'4", 240, a senior. And they're just keeping 8 guys in the box, daring them to beat him around the outside.
On the other side, we've seen Granite Bay design some short passes, especially for Ellison. Do you think Lincoln might want to do the same thing for Justin Davis?
Yeah, the defensive backs are 6-7 yards off, maybe some quick hitters around the outside. Here's a good play action look.
Greenlee's going to fire downfield and have it go in and out of the hands of O'Shea Washington. Washington had some space. Throws a bit offline, though.
Came into this game with 26 catches. You're right, this ball is high, but probably one that he still needs to make a play on. And, you know, Zach Greenlee just trying to get something going to keep him in rhythm. Here they are, 3rd and long again.
Visit our website, ComcastHometown.com. You get a complete list of games that we'll be covering. We'll be bringing you football games and then basketball games once basketball season starts. And if you really want to follow us closely, you can follow us on Twitter at SportsCHN. At SportsCHN is our Twitter handle. 3rd down and 13. Greenlee again in the shotgun. Far side and wide open is O'Shea Washington, and that's going to be good for a first down. How does Washington get that wide open on that play?
This is a well-designed play, and they do a nice job up front to give their quarterback some time. They keep Davis in again, so they have 6 blockers. He looks right the whole way, and you can see the receiver downfield. And then they run O'Shea Washington underneath him. That's just a well-designed play by Brian Gray. First down.
They are across midfield, the 49-yard line of Granite Bay. First down and 10, they're going to pitch it to Davis, cutting back, and again, nowhere to go, maybe a yard.
That's a great open field tackle. There's no other way to say it. Justin Davis starts off going to the left, trying to pick up some yardage, and then he tries to cut back. I thought he had 5 or 6 yards here on the cutback. Look at this, trying to come back inside and then coming up from his linebacker spot to make a big-time stop inside there. Bo Hirschberger, who actually recovered the fumble, but Hirschberger does a nice job. So when they actually...
Second down and 10 for the Trojans. Greenlee's going to be back to pass. He's looking to roll, flushed out of the pocket, fires, and if that is a catch, it's one heck of a catch, and it was. That was Alexander on the reception.
Nice catch here, little play action. Great job of blocking out front. And look at him tiptoe along the sidelines.
Man.
Yeah, that's a great catch and a great camera shot. Look at 2 feet down. That's good at the next level. Great catch that time by Alexander. And, you know, really, we talked about they haven't been able to run. This has been good. Yes, they got some penalties. Yeah, they got the break on that 1 first down. But, you know, Greenlee's been the reason that they're moving the ball right here.
From the 35, 1st and 10. Greenlee's going to hand it off to Davis, and Davis again is just stuffed, and this time maybe for a loss.
Now he's just running as hard as he can, trying to get some yards, looking for a hole. A lot of respect for him. Anybody that rushes for over 2,000 yards, but 8 carries for 4 yards. No, that's not a typo. 4 for 8. He's 8 for 4. So he did have one play where he had a negative 5-yard run, but they have really done a nice job of stuff. And remember, he started the game with a 5-yard run. Outside of that, everything's been pretty much negative or just for a yard.
2nd down and 9, approaching 3 minutes to go here in the opening half. Greenlee's going to throw toward the middle. It's going to be caught. Hauled in across the 20 by O'Shea Washington.
And they become pretty one-dimensional. Luke Busey on the defense right there. And good 3-step drop. Great throw by Greenlee on the back shoulder. And they left. They had 5 offensive linemen, obviously. They had their tight end. They kept 2 backs in, so they had 8 people in the protection, just 2 people in the route, and they still pick up the 1st down.
O'Shea Washington had some cramping issues against St. Mary's. He was the number 2 wide receiver last year, had 26 receptions on the season. Hand off to Davis, trying to cut it near side, spinning around, and is stripped of the football. He may have gotten it back, though. He was quick to fall on it. Granite Bay digging for it.
He got it back. That would have been absolutely huge. As the clock winds down here to about the 2-minute point, try to just do a quick hitter on the outside, and the Granite Bay defense, they shuffle, read, react. Got the ball on the right side. We saw very heads-up play to dive back down on it, but usually you want it in your outside arm, your left side, and Davis is frustrated. 9 carries tonight, lost a yard there, so he's down to 3 and a fumble.
2nd down and 11. Under 2 minutes to go now in the 1st half. 3 in the backfield. Greeley's going to throw far side, and that's going to be incomplete. Well overthrown at the intended receiver, O'Shea Washington.
They've almost become one-dimensional in another way. You know, we thought they might come out and try to run it and be one-dimensional with Davis, but talked to Brian Gray earlier this week. He said they're just boxing him in. We've got to find another way. What they're doing, because they're so effective inside with that 8-man box, is it forces 8 offensive players to stay in the box and only put 1 receiver out in the route. That's what they had there, double coverage on the outside. Greenlee just threw it basically away. So here you are, 3rd and long.
Greenlee in a shotgun. That's Davis in the backfield with him. Takes a direct snap. Davis a good block, but Greenlee's going to be flushed anyways. Greenlee racing to the sideline. He's going to get rid of it, and it's a good thing he did because a sack there may have put him out of field goal.
And you know what? You're going to get a horse collar tackle here. When you didn't need it, it's going to be a late hit, 15 yards, and it's going to give Lincoln a 1st down. Looked like a horse collar tackle. I thought Greenlee left the pocket a little bit early that time. They had it picked up well, the blitz.
Okay, personal foul. Horse collar against the defense.
So watch this. They're bringing him down, and he pulls him down from his backside, and not really a horse collar. The rule is to pull you back on your shoulder pad, drag you down from behind. But anytime you get pulled back from behind, they're going to call that, and probably a good call right there. Bo Hirschberger, who covered the fumble, and there's Ernie Cooper. Note to talk to Hirschberger at halftime. Remind me to talk to him and his family on homecoming.
Personal foul, horse collar on the tackle by defense. 15 yards from the 5, brings up 3rd down.
You just have deja vu?
It's interesting, though, it's not an automatic 1st down. Usually when they get the dead balls and late hits, it shows you how far behind the line of scrimmage that took place. But normally a personal foul is an automatic 1st down. Not the case here.
That is a bit odd. So 3rd down and 8.
Got to think it's 4-down territory for Lincoln now, down by 3 scores.
Inside 90 seconds in the 1st half. Really going to get it into the backfield to Davis. He tried to take a tackle, but was eventually brought down. I believe it was Max Benz on the initial hit.
Spencer Castigay right there. Castigay, excuse me. But great job on this tackle from Castigay. Boom, I'm gonna hit him high, gets a good forearm shiver. I'm gonna hold on to that foot, and Cameron Smith jumps right on the backside as well. They are all over Justin Davis. We're gonna hear from Rick Pugh again.
Decline. Holding, offense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play, 4th down.
It looks like it is 4-down territory. I thought it was Max Benz on the initial hit. It was Castigay. And then, as you mentioned, on the backside, it was Cameron Smith. It was 35, not 95. And Granite Bay calling a timeout. We'll get a look at our remaining schedule on Comcast's hometown network of football games next week. As we mentioned, we'll be in Jackson. You can see our schedule on down the road. Some great games on the board on CHN.
Sarah, we already saw them already this year against Valley Christian, De La Salle against San Ramon Valley. And then you get 1 of 2 fantastic games. Folsom, undefeated. Gave us the National Player of the Year a couple years ago in Dano Graves and Casa Grande. Cardinal Newman, always fun to watch. Got them at the Battle of the Capitol a couple years ago.
It was, I think it was Cardinal
Catholic.
Newman at Central Catholic.
Central
That's
Catholic.
Right. That was back in 2009.
It was. Our outstanding Comcast crew did 4 games that day. They had Granite Bay in Pittsburgh. They had Cal against Del Oro. Remember Bryce Pratt that night rushing for over 200 yards?
I also remember Eric Alves having a coffee IV hooked up to his right arm.
I've never seen a Starbucks dispenser actually intravenously go into someone's arm in a truck before.
It was never more needed than that day.
Did a great job. 4 very good games, 4 very good programs, 8 very good programs, most of which went on to the playoffs. But for Lincoln right here, you got to think that this is the reason Granite Bay took a timeout. They realized they get the ball first in the second half, 1:20 to go. Don't commit a penalty if you don't need to. Knock the football down if you can. And this is a huge opportunity for them to really, in a way, put the game far out of reach.
Lincoln needs to get to the 9-yard line for a first down. We're going to get another timeout, this time called by Lincoln. They wanted to see how Granite Bay came out, and they'll go back to the drawing board.
You know, Brian Gray sensing how important this is, too, as you see Mike Sewell, who's over there talking to his senior quarterback. But 21-0 as you take a look at the touchdown so far tonight. And actually, great job inside by Cooley. 7-0, and then they go inside to the other senior on his fullback spot, Partridge. And then the one we just saw to Ellison, the junior, got 4 catches on tonight, takes it in the end zone, 21-0. And so Partridge, Ellison, Cooley, and Caraway have all been impressive tonight.
And Ernie Cooper has to be happy with how his team has responded after that tough loss to Pittsburgh last week.
I don't think he's dropped his intensity at all here in year 16.
No.
Seems as intense as he was in year 10 and year 5.
That fire's still burning.
Yep. He's been so successful. Put so many players at the next level. Sammy Strotter played up at Oregon State. Really a hotbed of quarterbacks up here. One of the best leagues in all of Northern California. Sierra Foothill League.
So 4th down and 17. Here we go. Greenlee back to throw. He's going to be flushed, and he's going to be back near midfield. This is going to turn into a circus play. He's going to come near side, has some room. Looks like he's going to try and tuck and run. 40, 35, 30. He's going to be brought down out of bounds after he got back to the 30-yard line. Maybe they're going to mark this at the 27.
This is a 62-yard run to pick up 2, but you know, Greenlee's taken a lot of hits. He kind of gets out of his, they have a pocket formed for him, and they have 4 receivers in the sets. He needs to get his feet underneath him, the old ice water in the veins, trying to make a play with his feet. And at the end of the play, I mean, he sees the sticks, and they're a good 10 yards down the field as Arnson makes another good stop. Here's the Granite Bay offense.
It's going to be Caraway throwing far side. That's going to be complete. Looks like a first down on the play. And it looks like Ellison yet again.
Grant Caraway 10 for 11 on the night. Good chance for them to actually run their 2-minute offense here. They've got 2 timeouts to go. Good job of throwing in rhythm all day. Receiver goes up, picks up a first down. And Michael Garrity on the catch.
Been so used to seeing Ellison. And he did not get a first down, so it's 2nd down and 1. Caraway rolling, firing near side. That's going to be complete. And out of bounds for a first down, and that is Garrity again. So maybe Caraway's found a new favorite guy.
This is a dangerous throw. Kind of a slow developing play here. Watch him put some air underneath it. But he's got so much confidence in his receivers. He throws it off his back foot. Great throw. Good job by Garrity, knowing where the first down sticks are. First down, Granite Bay. Got out of bounds, too, which is another key. Preserves the 2 timeouts.
Lincoln looking for an answer.
Lincoln just needs to stop.
Inside a minute to go here in the first half, and Caraway rolling far side. He's going to throw it incomplete.
Got a flag down. You're going to have a late hit on the quarterback. Roughing the passer. It's going to add 15 yards onto this. Grant Caraway is playing in front of UCLA, Wyoming, and some other scouts tonight. He is playing a very good game for this senior quarterback. Not a lot of people knew his name coming into the ninth. They'll know by the end of it. Now 11 for 12. Take a look at the end of the play here. He takes a shot. I think it's Curtis Young Gaines, number 3, that gets him. Release, 1, 2.
You don't like it, do you?
Always protect the quarterback.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense. Automatic. First down.
It's just we see it in slow motion on a replay, and that's a pretty fast game. Nonetheless, call is the call. Roughing the passer. Now they've got the ball down with 46 seconds to go at the 44 of Lincoln.
Keep in mind that Colin Brown did hit a 42-yarder at Pittsburgh. Can hit from 45 yards out, so keep an eye on that as they try and get into at least field goal range. Caraway trying to dodge tacklers, and he's going to be brought down. Gain of about a yard.
Sorry, Zach, they'll burn one of their 2 timeouts here. He's making really good decisions now. But right here, what you probably got to do is just throw it away and preserve the timeout. There's Natello Howard thinking about what his defense can do here, trying to preserve this.
Lincoln, of course, from Stockton, down the road about an hour and 15 minutes or so. Granite Bay relatively new, especially compared to Lincoln. Going back to 1954. Mike McFarland, alum of Lincoln, Kansas City Royals catcher for a time. Shante Carver played defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys.
Then Mark Palmer, former quarterback, Sammy Strotter, we talked about him before, plays at Oregon State. And, you know, I saw Curtis Shaw was an outstanding running back for Lincoln, went up to Washington. Had a great offensive tackle just a couple years ago that went down to USC. They've got a Lincoln Trojans. They send a lot of guys down to play Division I college football, and so does Granite Bay. But right now, the focus for Lincoln is not on the playoffs. It's on making a stop here and getting themselves to the locker room down by just 3 scores.
Just saw Natello Howard. We'll see what he draws up here for his defense. 36 seconds to go here in the half. Caraway is going to roll. He's going to fire far side. It's going to be complete. And out of bounds goes Garrity. He's been the face of this drive for Granite Bay.
Garrity, 3 catches all on this drive. Great job on the route here. Little skinny rollout coming right on the heels of the 15-yard penalty. And really, Grant Caraway tonight has been very impressive. 13 for 14. Remember that incompletion's a throwaway. 1 touchdown, little wide receiver screen to Ellison. He's got his team about 10 yards away from taking a field goal try.
Caraway's going to roll. He's going to fire complete. And this is going to be Ellison. 20 seconds to go. And a timeout called by Granite Bay.
Now 14 of 15. I like what they're doing here, though. They're keeping Lincoln kind of at bay. Just a skinny roll to the right. He throws the ball very well on the run. That's a tight spiral between 3 defenders to Tony Ellison, who's got 5 catches on the night, 1 of those for a touchdown, and it moves it very close to first down. One thing to keep in mind, they are now out of timeouts. They've used all 3 of them.
Going to be about a 41, 42-yarder from this spot.
Brian Gray has taken himself from the press box tower down to the field in his 4th season, sensing the importance of a stop here at his alma mater. Former offensive coordinator, coached at Damien, coached at St. Mary's. Right now wants his defense to hold them to a stop.
Brian Gray calling it a special opportunity to walk the same halls he did as a student, now as the head coach at Lincoln. Graduated in 1992. 2nd down and 1, and again, remember, Granite Bay out of timeouts. No matter, they're going to hand the ball off, and knifing up the middle is Johnny Cooley at 1st down. That's going to stop the clock.
It's the advantage of the high school rule, is get up on the ball quickly. As soon as they mark the change, they start running the clock.
And there it goes, and they're going to kill the clock here.
It's too bad, that's Caraway's 2nd incompletion. So 12 seconds to go, no timeouts. Ball is on the 14. The way you're playing offense tonight and you get the ball first in the 2nd half, I think you take a shot at the end zone. You got receivers doing what you need them to do. A very athletic big tight end. If it's not there for him right away, Ernie Cooper tells his quarterback, just throw it away. We'll kick a field goal here. This point will be a 31-yarder.
Do not get sacked. Quick drop for Caraway. He's going to throw it into the end zone, and wide open there for the touchdown is Ty Cerna. Like a little fade route there, and Cerna was wide open.
This is a double move. Watch this. He does a pump fake. 1, 2, 3. He fakes the slant, and then Cerna, that's called a sluggo. You fake the little slant inside, and you go to the outside, and everybody bid on it. That's a great throw. Touchdown. Granite Bay did what they needed to do and left Lincoln almost no time.
So Caraway continues to impress. And Colin Brown will try and make it a 28-point lead, and he does. Wow, what a way to close out what's been an impressive half for the Granite Bay Grizzlies.
Hey, they really responded last week. Very frustrating loss. See the little pump fake inside. They look at slant the whole way. Rayvon Alexander jumps on it, and he puts it right over the outside shoulder. And Grant Caraway, 15 for 17, 2 touchdown passes and close to 200 yards on the night. And college coaches are like the way he looks right now, picking up some cell phones or texting like everyone does. Hey, have you seen this Caraway kid? Having a nice game.
Always nice to make an impression when the big boys are in town. 6 1/3 seconds. I think you said last week, was it you that told me you didn't really like the squib kick? It kind of takes the teams out of rhythm.
Well, it depends on how it's executed. I just think that if you have a kicker like they had last week at Buhack Colony, you can kick it through the end zone. Why as well put them at the 20, because sometimes the squib kick ends up hitting an up man at the 30 and they get it up to the 50. But these guys forgot more about football than I'll know, so that's fine.
I'm not sure about that. Don't shortchange yourself, Scotty. Go down to the 25, and that's going to be in and out of the hands of John Lopez.
In this case, I like the squib kick. Why? Because Lincoln already showed they had some issues covering their own kick. So just put it down in the middle, and the way that they return, they set up their return. Gives them an opportunity. But I think if you're Lincoln right here, you take a knee, you get to the locker room, and try to figure out what you can do in the 2nd half offensively.
Trojans will be trying to lick their wounds.
Give me some depth. Give me some depth. Keep him in front of you. Keep him in front of you.
And that's what they're going to do. Greenlee's just going to take a knee. And that's how the first half comes to a close. Granite Bay really put its stamp on the first half. 28-0, and this crowd in full throat on homecoming night here in Granite Bay.
You know, they have had a tough go of it. You know, they played Westlake, they played Oaks Christian, they lost to Pittsburgh last week in a game they could have won, and really felt like they put everything together. This looks like the Vacaville game, and they blew Vacaville out right after we had them. And you know, this is a team that's kept their confidence high. 42 seniors come back tonight, and they have absolutely played lights out offense, defense, and special teams, and lead is 28-0. The scary thing is they get the ball first in the 2nd half.
That's very true, and it looks like Gianna Franco did grab Ernie Cooper before he went into the locker room. So as soon as they get set up down there, we will send it on down to Gianna, and actually, that is what we're going to do right now, Gianna.
All right, perfect timing. I'm here with head coach Ernie Cooper. Congratulations, great first half so far. Let's talk about your passing game. Looks like Tony Ellison so far 6 receptions and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, Tony's a heck of a player. He's probably our most dynamic player, can run with it, catch it, plays our fly back. We got a couple of flybacks in the NFL. Not saying he's going, but he's a pretty good player and a lot of fun to watch.
Well, speaking of good players, Grant Caraway seems to get better and better every week.
Yeah, Grant has come on. You know, he directed that beautiful drive right here at the end of the half. I mean, that was a thing of beauty. I wish I would have done it last week. We probably would have won the game, but we worked on it hard this week, and he really directed a nice drive there. He's having a good game.
All right, well, good luck in the second half. Thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
I'll send it back to you, Zach.
Thanks very much, Gianna. And Ernie Cooper fired up about the play of his quarterback, and he should be, as, again, a beautiful touchdown throw to end what was a dominant first half for Granite Bay. We'll come back with some halftime stats and highlights next. It's the Xfinity Game of the Week. Back here at Granite Bay High School, 28-0. Granite Bay leading Lincoln. Zach Bayrudy alongside Scott Gordon. And Scott, this was just total domination for the Granite Bay Grizzlies in half number 1.
They've really dominated the line of scrimmage and shut down the rushing attack that we talked about in the open. They've become one-dimensional, the Lincoln Trojans have. They pick up their second first down in the first half. They had this is the deepest penetration they had. Zach Greenlee and O'Shea Washington. This was a connection that went for 3 different first downs as Lincoln ends up pushing the ball deep into Granite Bay territory. They cannot convert and get a touchdown, but Granite Bay's offense has really done what they needed to do. John Cooley throwing his right guard out of the way. That puts Granite Bay up 7-0, and then senior Taft Partridge from his fullback spot. They set this play up perfectly. He goes in untouched. Granite Bay now leads it 14-0. That was their second offensive possession. And then the passing of Grant Caraway has been phenomenal. Little quick one out here to Tony Ellison, who takes it into the end zone. He's had 5 catches. And then right at the end of the half, they run the 2-minute drill that Ernie Cooper talked about. A little sluggo, slant and go. Ty Cerny catches it, and that leads us to where we are right now. You mentioned it, Zach. Total domination, really up front, 28-0 Granite Bay.
And what's shocking when you look at the halftime stat breakdown, -8 yards rushing for Lincoln. And we talked in the open about how much of their offense is going to go through Justin Davis, who's verbally committed to USC. And there was just nothing there for him in the first half, and that really hurt the Trojans.
He cannot get anything going. The one stat you look at the bottom here is the biggest yardage that Granite Bay, or that Lincoln's got is from Granite Bay penalties. They have more penalties than they have total yards on the other side. The game could even be more one-sided if that wasn't the case.
We will send it now down to the field where Gianna Franco is going to talk with Bill Poindexter from the Roseville Press Tribune. Gianna.
I am here with Bill Poindexter, who is the sports editor, and you are no stranger to covering Granite Bay.
No, I've been working here for about 3 years now. I've been watching these guys over the course of that time. This is the 3rd time I've seen them this season, and I got to cover them throughout last season when they won the Sac Joaquin Section Division I championship.
So what do you think about tonight's matchup so far?
I think at the start of the season, if you would have asked people about this, they wouldn't have envisioned Granite Bay winning 28-0 at halftime. But as we found out over the first 5 weeks of the season, both these teams are a little different than what we envisioned at the start of the year.
And let's talk about Grant Caraway so far. You know, what are your impressions? He's really improving from week to week.
He has improved greatly since the first week of the season. He's not really a rookie. He didn't play quarterback last year because of Brendan Keeney, who was their fine 3-year starter, who's now a preferred walk-on at Cal, and they had a big-time weapon in him. But Grant Caraway was the freshman and the JV quarterback here for 2 years, so he knows his way around back there. And I saw him 2 weeks ago against Vacaville. He began to pick apart the Vacaville defense early. They do a lot of quick-out stuff for short gainers. They turn some of that stuff into long gainers, and he looks really good and smooth tonight also.
So how do you think Granite Bay is going to do in league this year?
I believe when it all comes down to it, they're going to be there at the end, but by putting themselves in a 1-3 hole to start in the section, you have to win 6 games overall, so they're really going to have to go on a run. They're looking pretty good right now with a 28-point lead at the half, but they're going to have to get hot in league also, and it's not going to be a cakewalk. The Sierra Foothill League is one of the toughest leagues around, and a lot of people think it's the toughest league in the Sacramento area.
So we talked about it briefly before the interview about a lot of seniors coming back this year. What's your comparison this year to last year?
This year's seniors, some of them didn't play a lot last year as juniors, so they're seniors, but they don't have a lot of seasoning in them like last year's seniors did, like Brendan Keeney, the quarterback, Gavin Andrews, who's now at Oregon State on scholarship, the big 6'7", 330-pound kid they had. He was a 3-year starter. And they had a few kids like that were 2-year starters and a couple of 3-year starters. This season's guys, they don't have that. A lot of them are first-year starters, notably on their offensive line. They have seniors, and they're big and strong and physical, but they don't have a lot of seasoning. But they're showing it more now than they showed in opening week.
All right, well, thank you very much, Bill, for joining us. I'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Gianna. That's great stuff from Bill Poindexter, minus his New York Yankees t-shirt. He can leave that at home next time. It's been a dominant first half for the Granite Bay offense. Maybe nobody more so than Tony Ellison, a monster first half, including this touchdown, 28-0 Grizzlies here at the half. Second half about to get underway on homecoming night in Granite Bay. Zach Bayruti alongside Scott Gordon, Gianna Franco down on the field. Eric Alves, our producer. Gary Wasley, our director. Matt Alves, our statistician. So glad to have you along with our tremendous crew here in Granite Bay. 28-0 the Grizzlies on top of the Trojans. There's some of the halftime festivities. Also, halftime fireworks here in Granite Bay.
Oh, they do a great job here. Got some nice cars going around the track, put on a very good homecoming show. Fireworks before the game and at halftime. You know, the interesting thing that we have to look at, last week, St. Mary's was down 12-7 to Lincoln. Since that time, Lincoln has been outscored 72-6 in the last four quarters of football. Need to have a good second half.
And it's going to be Granite Bay getting the ball to start this half, so it's going to be tougher for Lincoln as they don't even have a chance to possess the ball. And a great return to start the second half. That's Taft Partridge on the return. And he's going to get to the 35-yard line. And we have a down Trojan.
It's one of the Ramos brothers, one of the linebackers, number 23, Devin Ramos. Interesting there, Partridge almost fields this in the end zone. If you have a foot in the end zone, they have to put it at the 20, but he does a great job of finding the wall. Oh, man. Looks like he comes in from the sidelines where he got pushed outside, but big-time collision down there. And Partridge, who has one touchdown on the night, has a very, very good return, puts him in good field position at the 34.
So an even tougher way for Lincoln to start this half off.
You see, he's fighting those two guys up at the screen right there. There's a 2-on-1. Good job of fighting back and getting off the block. Doing what he can do, being blocked by Clint Ellenwood over there on the side. But nothing like jogging 5 yards and hitting a full head of steam 30 yards up the field. Good news is he bounced up and he is off the sidelines. And here comes the Granite Bay offense led by Grant Caraway.
Tremendous first half for Caraway, very efficient, only 2 incompletions, and one of them was a clock kill.
And the other one was a heads-up play to throw it out of bounds. He was 15 for 17 with 2 touchdowns.
First down and 10, Caraway is going to hand it off in the backfield. And a gain of about 5 yards. And that'll be Ellison.
You know, I think you're gonna see a lot of this. They run their fly look, give it to Ellison on the sweep, cuts it up inside, picks up 7 yards. I mean, when you're up 28-0 at halftime, the message is let's come out, we get the football, let's break their will, let's run it right down their throat, let's eat up some clock, and let's end this thing, especially after what happened last week against Pittsburgh.
Caraway takes it, hands it off. Cutting to the 50-yard line is Johnny Cooley. First down and plenty more for Johnny Cooley, the outstanding halfback.
Go get in their huddle and do it. But look at this here. Nice job of pulling by Justin Ramirez. Good seal block. Good tight end job, Dylan Keeney. And there's some great downfield blocking. And in 2 plays, they're already in Lincoln territory.
You know, we noticed an interesting halftime adjustment for Lincoln. Their head coach, Brian Gray, moving from atop the press box down onto the field. There's Brian Gray. So he moved from the press box to the field, try and get his team something. Get his team fired up in some way, as this is going to be Cooley dragged down after a short gain.
Mike Sewell, the offensive coordinator, has moved upstairs, but you know, at this point, he's got league starts next week. He needs to get his team to get some momentum. He's trying to get the energy up. He's in a situation he's not accustomed to. He's been very successful in his 4 years. He's had some great athletes. You go in the locker room and you just need to, you can see Mike Sewell who's gone upstairs, but you can see Gray just putting his headsets on now. He's just trying to get his team to play as hard as they can here in the second half.
Caraway to throw, and it's complete. And across the 40-yard line goes Garrity. It's going to be just shy of a first down.
I guess the Lincoln guys were watching the Monday night game, hoping for simultaneous possession there. But Garrity, nice job. He's become quite a weapon here. This is just a quick three-step drop. They throw this a lot. Well-thrown ball, good route by Garrity, gets upfield, knows where the sticks are, and gets up close to there. It'll be 3rd and 1.
See what they do. Caraway is going to hand it off, and this is Cooley for a first down, bouncing off tacklers across the 30.
You know, the fundamentals of football don't change, Jack. It's all about blocking and tackling, and right now Granite Bay has not been tricky with anything they've tried to do. They've had one pass. There's the quick guard. There's the good downfield blocking. They're breaking tackles. They're blocking downfield. They're getting a great push up front.
First down and 10. Caraway's going to hand it off to Cooley, and why not? Cooley's gained big chunks, and he'll do so here across the 15 to the 12-yard line.
He's getting 7 yards downfield before he even gets a hand on him. Watch the offensive line push. Look at the center. Great job by Parker Doyle, but watch this block downfield. Boom, that's a pancake block by Taft Partridge, the fullback, who started off the second half with a great return and has a touchdown of his own. But this is what they want to do. Come out. This drive's been less than 3 minutes. They've done exactly what they want to do offensively.
Cooley again, this time trying to bounce to the near side. He's going to be tripped up for no gain. A team like Granite Bay probably couldn't even fathom a 1-4 start to their season, which it would have been had they lost this one.
Adrian Ramos, coming up wearing the number 8 tonight. But yeah, you're right. You don't. But the thing is, you get out of bed and you realize you got 42 seniors and say, guys, you can either make this the season you want it to be and win out, or we can just fold our tents. And you can see they've responded the other way.
They've never lost more than 4 games since their first year of varsity here at Granite Bay. And this is going to be close to a touchdown, and Tony Ellison, did he get in?
Now they're going to mark him down at the 1, but this is the second passing play on this drive. And you know, they use Ellison here in the fly, just a quick 1-2 step, little wide receiver screen. You can put your lineman downfield, and a good job of blocking downfield by Ty Cernan, number 2. He's got a touchdown catch, and now they have the ball 1st and goal on the 2.
Just saw Taylor Peterson, a junior quarterback, with the clipboard on the sideline. First down and goal. Going to be a handoff, trying to run it up the middle is Cooley, and he's going to be stopped for no gain. That time they were able to stack him up pretty good.
They weren't. Brian Gray is just imploring his defense. He's got his call sheet right in the front of his pants, and he's just trying to say, D, let's just play this thing out. Play as hard as you can, for as fast as you can, for as long as you can. Nice job there by their defense. No quit, the defensive line.
See what the Grizzlies come out with on 2nd down and goal. Man in motion, Caraway is going to hand it to the man in motion. That's Ellison, the flyback, and Ellison is in for the touchdown. Tony Ellison getting it done again. And it's 34-0 Granite Bay coming out and scoring their first possession in the second half.
Try to go up the middle, that doesn't work, so they give it to Ellison around the outside. Partridge leads blocks, he finds a little gap, goes in untouched for his 2nd touchdown of the night. That's only fitting. He put him down there on the 15-yard wide receiver screen, and Granite Bay picks up where they left off. Caraway now on the night, 17 for 19, 2 completions on that drive, and what a job right there by the Granite Bay offense to come out and just get another 7 points.
And Colin Brown makes it a 35-0 lead. We will take a break, and while we do, we'll get our another look at the 2nd touchdown of the night for Tony Ellison here on Xfinity. all Grizzlies.
It's been all Granite Bay here tonight. They lead this one 35-0, and one of the reasons for that has been their outstanding play at junior Tony Ellison from his fly position here. Goes in the end zone. That put him up 21-0, and then the culmination of a fantastic drive there coming from his fly position. He's got 2 touchdowns on the night, and what a night that senior quarterback Grant Caraway's having. Grant Carrison, what a drive, 10 plays, 66 yards. Our score right now, 35-0, Granite Bay.
We talked about the success of this Granite Bay program a little bit earlier. School opened in 1996. They had a JV team that year. 1997, they only had juniors. They went 3-7. That's the only sub-500 year in school history. And only 2 other years with 4 losses. That'd be 2010 when they went 9-4, and 2005 when they went 8-4. Unable to get to the 20-yard line is O'Shea Washington. Good special teams coverage there for the Grizzlies. This is what Granite Bay's done in its last 5 years. 12-2 last year, section title. Defeated Pleasant Grove. And then Division II section champs in 2007, an 11-2 season over Del Oro. Casey Taylor and the Golden Eagles.
Well, let's see what Lincoln can do here. The Trojan offense has got to get something going. They've got some talented players. They've been outscored now 79-6 in their last 4 quarters.
Far side, there's some space for Washington trying to break one. He's going to be dragged down from behind, but after a nice gain.
Wouldn't be surprised to see them come out in some kind of no huddle to try to change the tempo of this game. Sometimes you do that for your quarterback, and Zach Greenlee has been the offense, this combination, which we featured at halftime, to O'Shea Washington, and they start things off in the second half. Quick out route, gets up the field, picks up a first down.
First down and 10. We'll see if Lincoln can keep moving the ball down 35 points. It's going to be a handoff to Davis, and Davis bouncing off tacklers, has a second wind, and gets across midfield. -8 yards rushing for the Trojans in the first half, and they're trying to get Davis more involved.
See his athleticism there, but what's hurting them is they're getting great penetration up front. And penetration is causing him to have to sidestep. That 9-yard run is all him right there, as the defensive line continues to get great penetration, and that's why they're getting that push upfield. Right there was number 90, J.R. Carlton.
Second down and 1 for Lincoln. Back to pass. Greenlee throws near side, complete for first down, and brought out of bounds is Rayvon Alexander.
Greenlee's been pretty good. Comes out, good rhythm throws, 2 of them. And this is a much better route than he ran in the first half by Rayvon Alexander. It's easy for a quarterback just to throw it out there if you know where your receiver's going to be. 2 good completions, a good 8-yard pickup, and their offense looks better.
From the 35-yard line, first down and 10.
Keep it up! Come on, guys!
This is going to be Davis, and Davis this time can't bounce off tacklers. He's dropped for a loss.
Just nowhere to go against this 4-4 scheme by John Rosa, the defensive coordinator for Granite Bay. Just getting bodies in there. Luke Jarvis coming up and making the stick. That's this time. They're just putting 8 guys in the box and daring them to throw, and that's why Lincoln's been so successful throwing the ball, but they can't run.
What's the key for a coordinator when you're coming into a game where you know you're going to have a guy like Justin Davis that's going to get plenty of carries and a guy that can definitely break a few?
Use the word contain. You know, he's going to get a run here and there, but make sure we limit them, tackle well, practice your tackling, and don't get him blown, get around the outside and break contain on him.
Greenlee being flushed from the pocket, he's drifting back, and now he's going to just chuck it out of bounds. Saw that happen a few times to Greenlee in the first half.
Yeah, they do pretty well in their quick game, their quick throws and whatnot, but if they go 5 deep, what they have to do is keep Justin Davis in, who's one of their most potent weapons. They have to block 7 because Granite Bay is rushing 7 on the other side. Only 2 receivers in the route. Coverage breaks down. He has to roll out and throw it away, so now they're in 3rd and long.
Third down and 11. Wide receivers to both sides, single back set. Greeley's going to fake the handoff, rolling right. Looking downfield, fires, and it is complete, it looks like, yeah. And that's Washington again.
This is a big-time throw right here. This is why colleges are looking at Zach Green. Look at this play action, good backside protection. Look at this is a frozen rope. Tight spiral, right on the money, and the only spot his receiver could get it, O'Shea Washington. That's a good combination. They had 26 catches last year, and these two tonight have really been the only Lincoln offense, but that's a great throw right there for a first down.
Five catches, 75 yards for O'Shea Washington. Been featured plenty tonight by Lincoln. This is going to be Davis, and again, he is just dropped in the backfield. A flag does fly, though. Going to be holding on the Trojans.
That's not good. You're getting negative yards rushing, and you're getting holding calls. Never a good sign. Surprised they don't go to Davis more on a screen pass.
Just going to ask you.
Even wide and put him out on a wide receiver and let him be in space. I mean, imagine him in a one-on-one spot against the DB with those moves that he has. You keep running him up inside, but you can't. It's almost like Stanford and USC a few weeks ago. They couldn't block Stanford. You got to adjust and go to a screen pass. Slow it down.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
This looks like Marcelo Hernandez, the right tackle. Yeah, that's a pretty good wrestling takedown. Yep, with the forearm. He'll get you every time if you extend your arms. But you're talking about it. Maybe spread him out at receiver. Try to get him the ball in space.
So 22 yards now to get for first down for the Trojans. Greeley takes a direct snap. Looking near side, he has a man, it's complete, and oh my goodness, Rayvon Alexander got smoked. Wow, I'm surprised he got up that quick.
He's a tough kid, but what a hit he takes here on the backside. Nice job of laying a lick on him by Grant Powers, but nice job knocking the ball loose, and he bounces right up. But that was a pretty good throw by Greenlee as they continue to be more one-dimensional. Anytime they're trying to dial up something for some yardage, it's a pass play, which is not where we're used to seeing at Lincoln.
Sorry, Scott. Good clean hit from Powers, too. They're trying to bring back the art of tackling. Seen some guys get blown up, especially across the National Football League. They're trying to have guys remember how to make clean tackles nowadays. That's getting out of the hands of Washington. They tried to get it to him again, and that throw was right on the money.
This is right off the back shoulder pad. Great protection. They leave Davis in again for the protection. This one goes right off of Washington's shoulder pad. That would have been close to a first down. And you were talking about tackling. You know, so much, everyone, they made those videos about hardest hits and things like that. But the big key to tackling is wrapping up. A good hit right there. It was a good tackle by Powers.
So now third down to Country Mile. Greenlee's going to be in a shotgun. Three wides to the near side. He's looking that way. He's going to fire it deep near side, and it's going to be incomplete. That was uncatchable for O'Shea Washington.
And they tried to get all the yardage there on 3rd and long. Granite Bay was almost in a prevent, and they had 3 receivers down that side. You know, a little quick wide receiver screen gets you about a half the yardage, and then you have a 4th and 10. Now you got a 4th and 22.
What do you dial up here if you're Brian Gray?
You've got 4. You go to a 4 receiver set and just let your quarterback run around. See if you can get it to one of them. Or a screen pass to Davis and see if he can break it.
Greenlee's trying to adjust something here at the line. So here we go, 4th and 22. They keep Davis as a blocker. They're going to fire downfield, and it's incomplete. Nowhere near the intended receiver. That was intended for Washington as well. And again, it shocks me that they keep Justin Davis in the backfield as an extra blocker.
He's such a good athlete. He's got such good hands, you know, give it to him. Even split him out wide, let him try to make a play. But They're trying to do what they can. They become one-dimensional with Greenlee, and right there he just throws it a little bit high. Actually looked pretty good on this drive. And the penalty really ends up hurting him and shows you how smart strategically Ernie Cooper is by taking it.
Face your number 78. Personal foul. Officiating. I don't know what you want me to do, Eddie.
As we eavesdrop on Robert Pugh, our referee.
Well, it wasn't a very close. It was an open mic conversation right there. I don't think that was a dinner reservation. I don't know what you want to do, Ernie. So it replays 4th down. It's a personal foul.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15 yards, replay, 4th down.
As you mentioned before, it's weird to have a personal foul penalty like that and not have it result in a 1st down.
Just shows you how far back they are, but now you got 4th and 7, 4th and 8 from the 19.
But more manageable this time for Greenlee. He gets another crack, throws over the middle. This is going to be complete near the goal line. And short of a touchdown, they're going to mark it inside the 1-yard line.
It's a very good touch throw this time by Greenlee. He hits Donald Rucker, who we've called on special teams a couple times. Good pass protection. Finds a little gap in the coverage. It's 2 cover deep. They get down inside for their, this is the best penetration they've had, down to the 1-yard line.
So best scoring chance of the game for Lincoln. 1st and goal. Greenlee's going to try and run it up over the goal line. Granite Bay saying he didn't get it.
Look who they put in the backfield at the fullback spot. Ulysses Townsell, who only goes 5'9", 285. Look at him. He's on the right side there, and he doesn't even get a chance to get a push in. Edel Story is also back in there. It's not often you see a quarterback sneak for a good athlete like that stuffed.
2nd down and goal. We'll see whose number they call this time. It's going to be Davis, and Davis is wrapped up, and he has just had no traction tonight. And you can tell by his body language, he's looking a little bit frustrated. Hirschberger with a nice hit.
He's very frustrated. They're just so one-dimensional on him. You know, they've tried this play, they pulled their guards, and by the time he gets the ball, he doesn't even have a chance to get to the line of scrimmage. They have got to find some ways to get him the ball in space in this game just for their league play to keep his confidence up. They were 1st and goal at the 1, now they're 3rd and goal at the 4.
So they'll put Greenlee in a shotgun. Dropping back to throw, now rolling. Now he's going to try and run for it, throws over the middle and into the end zone for a touchdown. It's Bobby Tuivau. So Lincoln has its 1st points of the night.
Nice job here. They go out of shotgun, keep 6 in, good pass protection. You see they keep Davis in again. He finds a little hole. I thought he might run it. Great throw over the outstretched arms of the Grizzly defenders. Touchdown. Remember, this one was aided by a 15-yard face mask penalty. So now, for the first time tonight, Lincoln is on the board with 2:26 to play here in the 3rd quarter.
There's Tuivau, junior, 5'11", 165 pounds. They're going to try and go for 2 here. Down by 29, they're going to get it to Washington, and he has it. And the 2-point conversion is good. So O'Shea Washington hauls in the 2-point conversion try. 35-8, and finally the Lincoln fans who made the hour and 15-minute drive have something to cheer about tonight.
You know, Zach Greenlee has been pretty good. This is an athletic play. They have a bunch of formations, 3 receivers to the right side, and they do a nice job of helping their quarterback out, coming all the way across when he breaks it. This is just a quick 3-step drop. This is an out the whole way. That's because they recognize the DB, Zach Lilly, is too far off the receiver. If he plays the outside, you run the slant. If he plays the inside, you run the out. And Brian Gray's offense has got 8 points.
Obviously, Lincoln's going to need some quick stops. Do they still have enough time, realistically?
You wouldn't even be surprised to see them try something like an onside kick here. You know, their best defense is having their offense on the field. They have not been able to stop this Grizzly offense. The Grizzly offense came out and just ran over them. But you also have to play for the rest of the season. You're going to need your offense, defense, and special teams. So in some way, you're going to have to get all three of them ready to go.
So the Trojans will boot it away. Korea boots it away. And running up the far sideline, across midfield goes Tony Ellison. How many times have we called his number today?
Yeah, he's been very impressive. Great job. Look at this wall form here. Everybody gets back together. And again, he really doesn't even get touched until he's almost in Lincoln territory. That's a touchdown-saving stop down there. That's why if you're Lincoln, you know, if you kick the onside kick or at least try something there, they're going to end with the ball where they got it anyway. So nonetheless, a great return by Ellison, and Granite Bay's in business again.
14-play drive to a touchdown for Lincoln. And now Grant Caraway back to work with a man in motion. Handoff up the middle, and that's going to be Partridge, the fullback. And Partridge still dragging tacklers on his feet, trying to drive forward after a gain of about 4.
He's a nice weapon to have. He does a nice job of blocking down the field when he can. And then they run that little inside trap play to him, which he scored for a touchdown earlier tonight. And right there picks up 5 yards on first down.
We'll call it a 5-yard gain. 2nd down and 5 is Ernie Cooper. Back to the drawing board for his offense. Ernie Cooper is also the offensive coordinator, as we've mentioned. Man in motion is going to be handed off to Ellison. And I know Ellison, the fly back, is still on his feet across the 20 and across the 15-yard line. Just when you thought Tony Ellison was going to get tripped up, he wouldn't be denied.
No way, and it was exciting for them, for all these seniors, to have a guy like a junior in Ellison that can make plays. This is a great job. Again, breaks another arm tackle, keeps his feet about him, does a nice job, and Washington makes a touchdown-saving tackle, and he's down right now on the backside. He had some cramping issues. The second half last week, Lincoln really struggled with some injuries, lost a lot of their secondary, and Coach Gray just got some of them back this week. Some players had some ankle injuries, and Washington, obviously their most potent offensive threat tonight, along with Greenlee. He's going to have to come out because he was injured, and touchdown-saving tackle there.
Yeah, Lincoln had their top 4 cornerbacks go out last week against St. Mary's, and they can ill afford to lose O'Shea Washington for an extended period of time, especially now that they just started to get some momentum finally.
Ernie Cooper very happy. Team's up 35-8. They're moving it again. Be surprised if we don't just see a couple runs here as the clock gets very close to the end of the third quarter.
Caraway hands it off to Partridge. Gains a couple. Teff Partridge was key in their playoff run last year with his blocking. And he also had 18 touchdowns and rushed for over 1,000 yards a year ago.
Just a tough young man. And Granite Bay just wears you down. And, you know, for them, this homecoming victory that they're headed towards is just really going to set them up for league play in a very positive fashion.
This is going to be Cooley. And he's at about the 5-yard line. They can still get a first down. They need to get to about the 3 for a first down to the Grizzlies. Inside 30 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
Zach, they've come out in the second half and just said, we're going to run over you. Their passing game's been very basic. There's Tony Ellison on the night, 6 for 50. Remember, he also has a touchdown reception tonight, over 150 yards, 13 touches. And we featured Johnny Cooley in the open. He's got a touchdown as well.
So 142 all-purpose yards for Ellison as time expires here in the third quarter. Lincoln finally on the board, but it's still all Granite Bay here on homecoming night. 35-8, Grizzlies in front. $35-8 Granite Bay. These two teams expected to dominate their leagues once league play starts next week. For more on that, we send it down to Gianna Franco.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Yeah, league play does start next week. In fact, Lincoln will take on Bear Creek next week to open up. Lincoln is in the San Joaquin Athletic Association. They are 29-1 in league over the last 6 years, winning league in 5 of those 6, and are heavy favorites to do so again this year. Now, Granite Bay is in the Sierra Foothill League. Annually, that's considered one of the best leagues in Northern California. The league did struggle a bit, though, this year, having a very difficult non-league schedule early on. Now, the 3 teams that are considered to be the best entering the year are Nevada Union, Del Oro, and Granite Bay. Both should be very competitive. We're expecting one of those teams to make some real noise in the playoffs, and Granite Bay will host Roseville next week to open up league. Back to you.
Thanks, Gianna. Yeah, these teams very stiffly tested prior to league play, expected to dominate their leagues, and Granite Bay off to a great start as they head into league play, and they're trying to score here on the opening play of the 4th quarter, but they will not. Stuffed in the backfield is Johnny Cooley.
Looked like a role reversal. They just tried to run their tailback Cooley, and the defense does a great job of penetration. This is the most active we have seen the Lincoln defense. They break inside, and Curtis Young Gaines, number 3, comes up from his defensive end spot, just sheds a tackler. For the first time tonight, they were down in the red zone and have not punched it in for a touchdown. Looks like they will try a field goal here with Colin Brown.
This will be a 26-yard try. He's good from 45 at times. He can hit from 45. He hit a 42-yarder at Pittsburgh last week, as we mentioned. We may have a false start here.
Encroachment defense.
They got to say on the defense.
Relax. Keep breath there. Encroachment defense still has 4th down.
I think Granite Bay might change their mind here. It goes from 4th and 6 down to 4th and 1. Ernie Cooper might put his offense back on the field, and you see Brian Gray saying that is the 2nd time that's happened tonight. It's been 4th and short. We've jumped off sides. That's exactly what they're going to do. Frustrating night for that man. He's had better days and some good days as a head coach, and he's got league play ahead of him. They've got to stop making penalties.
4th down and 1. Caraway back on the field. 2-back set, man in motion, and they're going to give it to Ellison. Ellison was the man in motion. I wasn't sure if they had gone to Cooley. They tried to fake like they had gone to Cooley. Ellison with the 1st down.
Starting to see some frustration set in there. They go to the fly route, give it to Ellison. Very patient run. Gets behind Partridge, gets up inside, picks up the 1st down. Looks like he's going to have it. They're going to have a measurement here, but it looked like he had enough to get up in there and pick it up. Looks from the ball is spotted, it would look like, at the 3, and that's where the chain stopped. So they're going to do an official measurement here. Good defensive stop by Lincoln. It was 1st and goal.
Getting word that Del Oro beat James Logan tonight. First win for Del Oro. That's hard to believe.
You don't say that very often.
Yeah.
But Casey Taylor knows what he's doing. Section champ. We had them last year. They beat Oakdale. Sac Joaquin championship. Nice win for their offensive and defensive staffs tonight. And George Zuber, head coach at James Logan, takes their first loss. But I think those are 2 programs we'll hear from again as they do pick up the 1st down for Granite Bay.
Sierra Foothill had 2 section champions last year in Granite Bay and Del Oro, 2 different divisions.
The year before, you had Rockland playing Del Oro for the section championship.
This is going to be to Cooley, and Cooley spins into the end zone for a Grizzly touchdown. Granite Bay continues to put it on the ground, and they continue to have all kinds of success doing it.
They're aided by a penalty right there. They were prepared to kick a field goal, and Lincoln jumped off sides. This time they go to Cooley, very patient run, bangs in there. ends up spinning himself in the end zone, his second touchdown of the night, and Granite Bay has run away with this one with 10 minutes to go. Extra point pending. They'll be up 42-8.
It is up and it is good. Colin Brown's been perfect on the night. 42-8, Granite Bay. What a homecoming for the Grizzlies. John Cooley finds pay dirt here on Xfinity.
(42-8). Johnny Cooley, somebody that came in averaging 18 to 20 carries on the game, started things off tonight. This put Granite Bay up 7-0 the first time they had the ball, and then they just converted a 4th and short. He takes it in for the touchdown, and Johnny Cooley on the night is really symbolic of what this Granite Bay offense has been able to do. Move the ball down the field at will, both passing and rushing. And the senior day today on homecoming, Johnny Cooley, 2 touchdowns. They lead it 42-8.
Granite Bay has responded very well after its tough loss last week. Had a 4th quarter lead and blew it at Pittsburgh. What's going to be the message that Brian Gray has for his team after this one?
You know, they've got a lot of football that's still left to be played. You know, you have to have a senior-only meeting and meet with them and say, guys, we win league, we go to the playoffs, we can be very, very successful. This is your legacy here at the school. They've got a lot of talented seniors. They've got some sophomores and juniors that are going to have to step up and lead. And you know, in a college level, you got to look at the University of Washington. They went down to LSU and just got smoked a couple weeks ago. They take a bye week, they take on Stanford. Guess what happens? They come back and upset them. Anything is possible.
It's Lincoln's upcoming schedule, and next week at Bear Creek, or versus Bear Creek, I should say, in Stockton. Projected to roll through that lead. And a fumble, Greenlee falls on it. Nothing going right for the Trojans tonight, Scott.
No, the only good news there is O'Shea Washington is checked back in at wide receiver, and they try to go out of shotgun. And you know, the bigger thing is they're going to have to go back to the basics this week in practice. Yes, their defense has got to tackle, they've got to get some penetration, but they've got to get into the film room and find a way to get Justin Davis the football in space so he can make some plays. They can't be one-dimensional, and yes, they need to win at the line of scrimmage, but they've also got to find a way. A guy who had 2,400 yards, 36 touchdowns last year, 200 yards last week against a great program like St. Mary's has just been shut down.
Second down and 14. Greenlee's going to run for it. Rolling near side. Greenlee's going to fire away into the sideline. So that'll set up a 3rd down and long. That's been a problem for Lincoln tonight. They've found themselves in a lot of 3rd and long situations.
They've actually had 3 personal foul penalties that have not resulted in 1st downs. How often do you see that in a football game? I remember watching Zach Greenlee in the ESPN Elite 11, and he is a tough kid. He's got a strong arm, and he's a good leader. Somebody's going to get themselves a gem of a quarterback. He's a 3-year guy, but more or less, they're going to have to turn things around this week in practice and provide the leadership that this team needs.
On 3rd and 14, almost another fumble for Greenlee, and he's going to throw down the middle, and that's incomplete. That was off the chest of Rayvon Alexander.
This one's not going to show up in the highlight film by the end of the season. They almost fumbled the play action pass to Davis. He throws this one dead on the money, which would have been a 1st down. And Alexander can't keep his feet, and it's off, and now they're just walking off the sidelines. And Brian Gray has had better days, and he'll have better days in the future, as they'll have to punt. But really for him, I mean, when was the last time they got blown out by St. Mary's? Yes, they've lost 9 times in a row, but came up tonight, thought his team could play competitively. But so far tonight, it's been all Granite Bay.
There's going to be Ellison back to receive. And they've had big problems trying to contain Tony Ellison tonight. That's going to bounce at midfield and be downed at about the 49-yard line, maybe the 48-yard line. That went down by Adele Story.
And we'll get our first look tonight at Josh Neal going with the backup quarterback, 5'10", 155, the junior. And this is key for him because they need to develop, just like they did with Caraway last year. You know, he's following somebody that was a 3-year starter. They needed to get Caraway some reps when they could. So for Josh Neal, a guy they'll look to next season to be their starting quarterback, to get some time against the speed and athleticism of a Lincoln defense is important. You see a lot of guys jogging on with clean jerseys, get an opportunity to get out the football field.
Granite Bay has been in command from the get-go. 42-8 inside 9 minutes. And as you mentioned, a lot of guys that have been sitting on the bench are going to get a chance to play in this one. Neal's going to hand it off, and almost a fumble.
Looks like this goes to Grant Powers, and he did fumble, and it's going to be Lincoln's ball.
I thought he had recovered. It was O'Shea Washington that got it.
We got a Lincoln player that's down on the field right now holding his, looks like it's number 26, Cameron Calder, who plays the Razor linebacker spot from the sophomore. He immediately took his helmet off and is holding his left shoulder. There's the play up inside. Oh, it looks like Garrity. It was Garrity on the tackle. Or a fumble, excuse me.
Calder made the hit, and he's feeling the brunt of it right now, trying to rotate that shoulder. There's Grant Caraway. That's a pristine night right there.
That's a great night. It's an average of 10 yards a throw. Remembering the 2 incompletions, one was a spike to stop the clock, and one was a throwaway out of bounds. And you know what? They gave him passes that were high percentage throws, but he connected on them, and he showed great poise, and he's getting better every week. What a night for him. 6'1", 190, and total command of the offense.
Ball's at the 46-yard line. So Lincoln's offense is back out on the field. Direct snap to Greenlee. He's going to fire near side to Washington, and it's in and out of his hands. I'm not sure he would have been able to catch it and come down in bounds anyway.
You know, Lincoln right now is playing for the next couple weeks. I know they want to score and score fast, but, you know, they've already shown that they can throw the ball. Interesting to see against kind of a backup defensive front for Granite Bay. You think they might try to run some plays inside, get some yards. They're going to have to establish the run to win their league. Wouldn't be surprised to see them not try to go back to that.
Really, this time's going to hand it off to Davis, and I'll tell you, that's a microcosm of his night right there.
Oh, that sums it up there in its entirety. You know, that great job defensively coming up to make the stop for Granite Bay. He's had no room to run the ball. And they've kind of just run the same stuff, and getting up from his defensive line spot is Colton, number 90. Another big play.
I'd imagine you have to put that on the offensive line.
Absolutely. You have to put that on the left tackle and the left guard. You got a junior and a sophomore going up against the senior front, and that's been the situation all night.
It's going to be a fake handoff, and Greenlee is going to be flushed. He's going to fire downfield on the run, and it's going to be juggled and incomplete. Almost a circus catch made by O'Shea Washington. You know, we talked with Brian Gray earlier this week, and he said the offensive line was getting unfairly too much of the blame because at times Greenlee's been on the run as you look at the catch that almost was for Washington, but Greenlee's been on the run at times. We've seen that tonight. But Coach Brian Gray said that line has been unfairly blamed at times.
Well, it's, you know, you can't say they have been unfairly blamed tonight. They haven't been able to run the ball at all, and now you got Greenlee trying to take a home run every time he throws it down the field. He actually had Jordan McMillar as tight end dragging underneath. If he gets the ball to him in space, they have a makeable 4th down. Instead, they're punting on 4th down. But you're right. I mean, they're young across the front. If you go there, left tackle, left guard, and center are all junior, sophomore going up against. They only had one player with experience up front, so I think he's protecting a young, inexperienced group going up against the senior-laden 6 good defensive linemen. I think it's a combination of how good is Granite Bay's defensive front and how inexperienced Lincoln's offensive front is.
Prior to the snap, we had a
dead
flag.
Ball, delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, replay, 4th down.
And there was. A lot of long faces tonight from that man. It's going to be a long bus ride back to
He's ready
Stockton.
for the bus ride to start now. You know, somebody that's been so successful, 29-11, coming in tonight, his 4th year. He just doesn't see this very often. He sees it 2 weeks in a row, his team blown out.
High snap, and Washington still able to get it away. Not a bad kick considering the circumstances. It does take a Lincoln bounce. It's going to bounce all the way down to the 25-yard line. That's a great punt right there from Washington.
Well, we featured Johnny Cooley in the open. We've seen some great night from Tony Ellison, but how about Caraway? Great throw down the sidelines, 17 for 19. This is the touchdown pass to Ellison. Put them up 14-0. Nice skinny rolls, throws the ball well on the run. He's found a lot of different weapons. Michael Garrity right there. And then that was the slug and go to Ty Cerna that put him up 28-0. That was the score at halftime. Great night out of Grant Caraway. His first year as a starter, but he's growing up before our eyes.
And of course, now on the bench as they let the backup Josh Neal take over. First down and 10, and they are going to give it to Garrity. And Garrity spins down for a couple of yards, gain of about 5. You know, we talk about, in baseball at least, you know, you see a prospect, a high draft pick come through, and at times...
Football season.
Oh, I know, but I want to talk baseball with you. But at times you see these prospects that come through, and they can be pretty raw when they get to the professional level, and yet the scouts are still able to discern what they like about that prospect. If you're scouting a quarterback as a college coach, what are the things you're looking for, even in a high school game, say on a guy like Greenlee, who's had a tough night, but has still shown an ability to get the ball downfield at times?
Well, they're already recruiting him because of what he's done in the Elite 11. You look at his size and athleticism, and you look at the duration of his career. You know, he's somebody that is a 3-year starter that has shown command of the offense, that has shown he can throw 2,300 yards. And, you know, our producer, Eric Alves, and I were talking about this before the game. We've seen some really good quarterbacks. Oregon State right now has Sean Mannion. And you see him play a couple years ago. You think he might be a couple years away. But these quarterback coaches have an eye for talent. And a guy like Greenlee is going to be fine. You just have to put him in the right system and surround him with the right athletes. And, you know, this definitely hasn't been on him tonight. If you don't have a Greenlee tonight, could you imagine what this score, what this would be like? And he's big, he's physical, he's smart, he understands the game, he's a leader. College and even NFL scouts have liked what they've seen in him. So what you need to do is just chalk this up as a kid who didn't have an opportunity. His team was outplayed because his offensive line was too young. And he's still going to be a very, very good quarterback at the next level.
Second down and 6 for Neal, his second series out there. Puts a man in motion. And he's going to hand it off inside, and being dragged down is Clint Ellenwood, backup fullback. And he does move the chains.
Still picking up first downs at will. I love the way that Ernie Cooper started off this drive. Who fumbled the last time they had the ball? Michael Garrity. He had a great night tonight. And so what do? They start off, they give the ball right back to Garrity. He says, I have confidence in you. And he picks up 5 yards.
First and 10 near midfield, and that's going to be a botched snap and another turnover. Lincoln falls on it. It looked like it was Devin Cannon falling on that ball.
You know, Ernie Cooper's a perfectionist. He's not going to like this. It looks like he pulls out a little bit early, and trying to dive on the ball just misses it. So they've had the ball 2 offensive series for Josh Neal. They fumbled it twice. And Ernie's going to, you know, every year, every position's open and let the quarterbacks battle it out. So he wants his offense to be sharp. They've looked good all night.
So with 5:11 left to go, Lincoln takes over at the Granite Bay 49. And this is going to be Rayvon Alexander under center now. So Alexander takes over, and they're going to hand it off. And that's going to be Marquise Grace as Lincoln gets some of its reserves in. Argonaut, we will see next week. They won in Alaska tonight against Thunder Mountain in Alaska.
Thunder Mountain, that was a ride at Disneyland.
I think, yeah, Space Mountain, right?
We've got a couple, but
Thunder Mountain Railroad. That's it.
That's
Eric
right.
Alves. Nothing
Big
gets
Thunder.
by Eric Alves. Not even the rides at Disney.
this is your hat and glasses, kids. This is the wildest ride in the West. See, I have kids, you don't yet. That's why I know that.
That's right. Linden versus Argonaut. So Argonaut will go from Alaska back home to Jackson. And that's where we'll be next week right here on Xfinity. It's another handoff, and this time, again, it's Grace, and Marquise Grace across the 20-yard line. So he's done really what Justin Davis had been unable to do tonight.
Well, he's taken both of his seniors, Zach Greenlee and Justin Davis, and they're icing him down on the sidelines right now. And he's just putting in it. He's got to have a backup quarterback, and Rayvon Alexander, if something happens to Greenlee, he's just a junior. He'll be the guy next year that they look to lead this offense. So put him in a situation against Granite Bay and see what he can do. Good run off the left side, as you mentioned. This is something they haven't been able to do all night. Getting the ball deep down the field.
First down and 10, and again, it's going to be Grace, and this time dragged down for a loss.
Pretty simple. Let's face it, both these teams have 3 timeouts, and I'd be shocked if I see either staff use one of them. Lincoln would like to score, but like to give some players some opportunities, but also realizing that discretion sometimes the better part of valor. Down 42-8 with about 3 minutes to go.
Second down and 12. Alexander once again going to hand it off to Grace, and Grace trying to break free up the middle. Gains a few yards. And he'll be spotted at the 19. A reminder, you can visit our website, ComcastHometown.com. A complete list of games we'll be covering, high school football, and when we get there, high school basketball games as well. And you can also follow us on Twitter, @SportsCHN. Once again, that's @SportsCHN. Be sure to follow us on Twitter.
Marquise Grace, 5'11", 170. He's looked very, very good on this drive for Lincoln.
Third down and 8. Grace up the middle, breaks free. Grace is near the 10. He is dragged down right at about the marker. May have gotten it.
He's close. We're going to say he's just a yard. Now they're going to... Pew is saying first down. The box says fourth down. So it's going to be 4th and short. What a win for Granite Bay tonight. I mean, very depressing, deflating loss last week to Pittsburgh. Came out hot, up 20-6, lose, but man, did they respond tonight.
And on 4th and 1, it's Grace. He gets the first down. And they are inside the 10, so it's going to be 1st and goal for the Trojans. And Lincoln trying to find some silver lining in an otherwise very dark sky tonight. Maybe trying to be the last team to score here tonight.
Yeah, the score was 28-0 at halftime. You've got to find a silver lining if you're a coach. And right now, it's 14-8 in the second half. You played better in the second half than you did in the first half. If you can punch one in here, you can actually win the scoring battle in the second half. You have to look for scoring lines to help your team.
Alexander's going to drop back. He's going to scramble, and Alexander's going to be brought down from behind.
And he's holding his left ankle, bounces up though.
Trotting toward the sideline.
Doesn't play a lot of quarterback. Looks like it was a predetermined quarterback draw. He dropped back 3 steps and took off. He's a good enough athlete to get up the field, Alexander, and gets tackled from behind.
Second down and goal. Alexander's going to hand it off to Grace. Grace across the 5 to the 4. Inside a minute now.
Drive has been all Grace so far. Granite Bay coming in with their defense, for goal line defense, take out a defensive end, put in another defensive tackle. Trying to preserve what their defense has done tonight. We're getting into the final couple of plays.
Lincoln trying to be the last team to punch it in. Trailing 42-8. 3rd down and goal. It's going to be a fake handoff. Alexander rolling, still rolling. He's at the 5, and he is in for the touchdown. So Rayvon Alexander scrambles into the end zone, and Lincoln with its 2nd touchdown of the night.
Good drive. Good job by Rayvon Alexander. You got to have something you look to, and Gray can look at the second half and say, hey, you guys outscored them 15-14 at this point. Play action, gets around the outside, breaks contain. It's a guy who's going to look to be his leader and quarterback next year, and jogs in the end zone for a touchdown.
And he will go for 2 here. Hand off to Grace, and he has nowhere to go. So 42-14. 10 seconds to go here in this one, and another look at the touchdown run for Rayvon Alexander.
Nice job they've been doing and running up inside. This is just a bootleg. They give them a run-pass option. That's what you do, put your athletes in space and try to make a play. So for Lincoln, while it's been a deflating loss tonight, back-to-back blowout losses against programs that they played very close last year, St. Mary's and Granite Bay, they got to be pleased they were able to get 14 points in the second half, hold this Granite Bay offense to 14 points, and start playing for league next week. But really, you can't say enough about the job of the seniors as you get the drive summary there. 51 yards on 9 plays. Alexander, little smile. I juked him at the goal line. I scored. But got to start preparing for next week already.
And again, Lincoln will have Bear Creek next week. That'll be at Lincoln at Alex G. Spanos Stadium. Spanos family, of course, big benefactors in Stockton. A number of their,
played running back for them a couple years ago along with Curtis Shaw. Michael Spanos went to Cal Poly. The stadium is also named after Spanos down at Cal Poly.
A number of their grandkids went to Lincoln. He's going to be brought up the near side, and a vicious hit. On the carry, that was Garrity.
Garrity's had a good night. Done some things well, catching the ball, had some good carries. You always know it's a good night when your seniors are hanging back with about 4 seconds to go, shaking hands, just sitting there and enjoying homecoming. You can see them sitting on the bench down there in the corner. And 3rd series of the game for Josh Neal. This one should just be a kneel down.
Pun intended.
Not pun intended. He's going to hand it off here, I think.
3 seconds, and he's going to drop back and throw near side, and that's going to be caught. And that's the ball game. It was caught by Mark Ellis. Not that Mark Ellis, but that's how the ball game ends. And Ernie Cooper will not go 1-4 to start his season. His team improves to 2-3, and they blow out the Lincoln Trojans here tonight on homecoming night at Granite Bay High School.
Very, very impressive by their seniors, very impressive by their defense, very impressive by their run out of adjectives. Just keep saying impressive, but I tell you, Grant Caraway was phenomenal. Taft Partridge was phenomenal. Johnny Cooley was phenomenal. Michael Garrity, Tony Ellison, and this game was one up front on the offensive defensive line.
We will go to a break. When we come back, we'll wrap this one up. We'll also hear from head coach Ernie Cooper from Granite Bay here on Xfinity. Dominant stuff tonight from the Granite Bay Grizzlies. They win 42-14. They defeat the Lincoln Trojans. Zach Bayrudy alongside Scott Gordon. And boy, this was a tremendous night for Grant Caraway.
Talked about how they have 42 seniors. They scored 42 points tonight. And the one question mark we might have had offensively was how's their quarterback, Grant Caraway, and that was answered. He was 17 for 19 tonight, had 2 touchdown passes, threw to a bunch of different receivers. This one to Tony Ellison, one of the few juniors that's starting. That put him up 21-0. And then a great job on rollouts, getting balls to his athletes in space. Michael Garrity And then this one put them up 28-0 and really just sealed the game. It was a slug and go, slant, go to the corner to tie Cerna, and really a big-time win on homecoming.
We'll send it down to the third member of our crew, Gianna Franco. Gianna.
Thank you very much, guys. I am here with senior Grant Caraway. First of all, congratulations on a great game tonight. You were 17 for 19.
Thank you.
How do you feel about how tonight went?
I thought we played really well. Lincoln and Stockton, they're a good team. This week in practice, we worked real hard on a lot of little things, and we're glad the game turned out today.
It seems like you're really kind of coming into your own here, like gaining that confidence.
I think it's just a matter of time. It's my first year, and I've been with this team a while. Just getting used to the game speed at varsity, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
All right, well, you had a lot of help tonight. I'll switch over here to Coach Ernie Cooper. Great contributions, Ellison and Cooley as well.
Yeah, no, our guys played well all the way around, and those two guys are talented. Johnny Cooley gives us that hard inside running game with Taft Partridge, our fullback, and then Tony gives us that that little extra wiggle out on the edge, and he's got tremendous speed. So with the way Grant played tonight, and he's been coming on just every week, getting better and better. We're really looking forward to league. It's been a tough non-league, and we're really looking forward to league. We're playing well. We played well last week. We just didn't finish the game off. So I'm happy with our guys' effort.
So what are your thoughts then as we head into league? Like you said, it was a tough non-league schedule starting out, so we're taking on Roseville next week.
Yeah, and Roseville is one of our big rivals. We're 17 years in here now at Granite Bay High School, and it's one of our big rivalry games. Coming at the right time. We need a rivalry game. We need a game to get excited about. And this one is it. I think we're playing better, and we got to put in a good week of work though, because they'll be ready also. They had this week off to get well and rest up, and so it's going to be a whale of a ball game.
All right, well, great game tonight. Congratulations, and good luck next week.
Appreciate it.
I'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Gianna. Great job down there tonight. Again, dominant stuff from Granite Bay. Our next game next week on Friday, it'll be a live telecast, and we will be in Jackson. That's right, in good old Jackson. Again, a live game here on Channel 104. Linden versus Argonaut. Fresh off their trip from Alaska is Argonaut. And we will have that for you next week here on CHN. Scott, it's been a pleasure. Thanks again, man.
Zach, it's always fun. Great job by the truck. And victory number 144 for Ernie Cooper was a resounding one, 42-14. Great job by their seniors, and a big win for the Grizzlies here on homecoming.
And again, it was all Granite Bay. Our final score, 42-14 Granite Bay for our entire crew. Producer Eric Alves, director Gary Wasley. For Gianna Franco, our statistician Matt Alves, Scott Gordon, this is Zach Bayruti saying good night from Granite Bay, 42-14, all Grizzlies here on Xfinity.